currently second, and Harris English, who's a shot behind on 10 under, may well drop shot or shots for the first time during this final round. Catherine.
Rory McIlroy's ball has been on quite the journey round the back of the green at the 10th. He was in the rough down the left-hand side. The ball took a fly-a-lie out of the rough, skipped through the back, and he hasn't succeeded in getting the ball from down on the spectator walkway. It disappeared to the back left of the green. It took a journey around the back of the dune round there, came to quite a good lie, you were saying, Katrina Matthew, on the spectator walkway, but he's just duffed it short of the green.
Yeah, he was on a nice flat lie, just on fairway high to rough, lying perfectly flat lie, but he really had to just cut right underneath that and get as much ice as he could, and he's just come up a bit short and it's caught up in the rough.
Thick rough for Rory McIlroy. We can see the top of his head now. There is an enormous horseshoe thick of spectators watching to see, because this needs to go in for a par to avoid drop shots for Rory McIlroy here on the 10th. And I wonder if it's that moment, Katrina, where he heard the U's and the R's, the double bogey for Scottie Scheffler. He missed the birdie putt from 25 feet on the 9th. And now he's just pushing a little bit hard on the 10th. The ball comes out of the rough. It sidles past the hole. A good 20, now 22 feet it's come to rest. He's going to have 22 feet for a bogey.
Yeah, I think he tried to get so precise on that third shot, you know, just to land it. He didn't have much around. Probably had about a 3-yard area he wanted to land it in to get it close. Tried to clip it up and it just hit the top and went all the way back down to where he was. So he had the same shot again. And, you know, if he wasn't trying to push for that par, that's probably the shot he would have hit the first time round. Just give yourself a long putt.
There's still a lot of love for Rory McIlroy as he walks down the fairway. Still a lot of shouting, still a lot of clapping. But it's a lot quieter compared to yesterday when he put together that gloriously exciting round of golf. And I wonder, it's a bit like when you're at Wimbledon and you see a home player and they hit it into the net and they get the ooh sound, and that ooh must weigh so heavily on their shoulders. They know they've caused disappointment to thousands. Matt Fitzpatrick, though, has a birdie chance here on the green. This one looking good as it curves round towards the hole, but the putter is just stone cold for poor old Matt Fitzpatrick today.
It is, he's just not quite got the pace. Everything just coming up a little bit short. He just looks a little disconsolate there. He's just not giving them a run at the hole. But in Rory, you can just see him, you know, he's the disappointment when he's slid a couple of those putts past. And the crowd, you can just sense it. They're just willing him to hold him, and he's trying his hardest.
Not as hard as they're willing Rory McIlroy to hold this one. It's 25 feet away from the hole. This is a bottle, a wine bottle shape of a green, and the pin is cut today where the shoulder of the bottle meets the neck. And Rory McIlroy is studying this one very carefully indeed, trying to limit the damage here on the 10th green to just the one dropped shot after finding all kinds of trouble round the dunes at the back of the green here on the 10th. Left hand on his left thigh, right hand on the grip. Now the left hand joins it, and together they slide down the white grip of the putter. The ball heads towards the hole, and it misses. It misses. It's going to be 2 drop shots for Rory McIlroy on the 10th, and having got himself to within 5 shots of the lead not so very long ago, he slipped to 8 under par, and that is now 8 shots off the lead.
Yeah, you could just see him look at the ground there when he missed that. You know, he must have felt in that last green, the 9th green, that he was kind of back in it, had a chance. And now just that double bogey's it's just probably killed his chances now.
Yes, and as he handed the putter back to his caddy, Harry Diamond, a very softly uttered expletive, Mark.
I'm not surprised, and actually you've just mentioned it, Kat, the difference between today and yesterday, and Graham Storm has joined us here on 10. You were with Rory yesterday. The contrast in those cheers that cascaded down this golf course yesterday to the relative silence today.
Yeah, and we were hoping for big roars, weren't we? We were hoping for the crowd to be shouting Rory, Rory, down, feeding back down towards where Scottie is, and maybe put that little bit of pressure on, but there's just nothing happening right now.
Tee shots on 10 here, Ian.
Yes, and news of them, and it's a good tee shot from Scottie Scheffler, the leader. He's found the left side of the fairway, giving himself a lovely angle into this narrow green with the flag
located right at the back, but for Hao Tong Lee, really horrible line. He lost his tee shot to the right, and it's gone right down between the sand dunes, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, he's trying to cut a driver down there to hold it on the fairway, but he's overdone it, and it's, as you say, it's well below the level of the fairway in a giant rut at 130 yards to the front of the green. I'd be surprised if he can get it anywhere up the green, maybe able to get it on the front edge. The pin's way at the back on the right, so he's just got to try and give him a chance to get up and down for par.
The Scheffler's about 100 yards from the front of the green, so he's got a lovely yardage, you would think, to deal with. The flag is located on this hole called the Himalayas. 31 paces on, and the reason it's called Himalayas is because it's surrounded by these giant dunes, and it's down amongst those that Hao Tong Lee finds himself. Four-time winner on the DP World Tour. He won the China Open back in 2016, won in Dubai, that was a big title, BMW International and the Qatar Masters in February, and this potentially his best major performance. He, on his major debut, finished third as he comes out sideways here on his major debut in 2017 at the Open Championship, and that remains still his best performance at this level. And let's pop over to John Murray before we see Scheffler's second shot in here at 10.
Yes, with second placed Chris Gotterup, who is through the back of the green here at the 11th in 2. So he's got to get up and down from here in 2. He's actually just stepped away, Ian, although he's now ready again. He is ready again. So Gotterup, club head behind the ball, right up the bank in the longer grass, not too tangly though, but sends it up. He's got all of the green to play with. The hole is down at the front. He's landed it halfway there, and it rolls on down, but it's still going to leave Gotterup with a good 18-20 feet to make to remain at 11 under. That will be for his par 4 here at the 11th here.
Scottie Scheffler's going to have a birdie chance at 10. Lovely approach, perfect distance control yet again for the world number 1. Impossible for us to say 100 yards away how far away he is from the cup, but I suspect this will be one of those that the closer we get, the better it will look. I think it could be around about 12 feet from the cup. So what a response this is turning out to be from Scottie Scheffler following that double bogey that he suffered at the 8th. Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, we had approximately 10 minutes where the lead, Ollie Wilson, was down to 4. That 10 minutes.
Yeah, just teasing the field, just playing with everyone, thinking they've got a little chance, and nobody else is able to make any charge, and he's just slammed the door shut again on the entire field.
So Hao Tong Lee needs a good one here. He's probably about 30 yards closer in than Scheffler was, so 70 yards from the front of the green, 100-yard shot to the flag. This is his third shot into this par 4 10th hole. From the left apex of the dogleg, sends it up high into the sky, then it comes down vertically and settles down. Nice shot all over the flag, and then it just tiptoes down the slope, and he'll have a decent look at saving his par here at 10. John.
Back on the 11th. Now this is on this final day in the back 9 of this Open Championship, with Chris Gotterup on 11 under and Scottie Scheffler the leader on 16 under. Andrew Murray, this putt from best part of 20 feet for Gotterup to remain at 11 under.
Yeah, I think this is a real championship defining moment, because this hole is, the teeth is not on this hole. I mean, the teeth has been taken out of this hole because it's straight down the wind, and they've both played it from the heavy rough. This is 18 feet down the slope, very quick.
We think he needs this to keep this thing alive. Gotterup on its way now. It's going to miss on the left. It's a dropped shot for the Scottish Open champion. Taps it in for a bogey 5. His first dropped shot of the day. He's back to 10 under. So that means Hao Tong Lee is now on his own in second on 11 under.
Yeah, that yellow leaderboard here that overlooks the 10th green has already made that change as Hao Tong Lee and Scottie Scheffler approach their putt. one of the themes of this final Sunday has been several golfers who, as I've said, suddenly appear on the leaderboard. You think, where on earth have they come from? And I believe for the first time, and we'll make this quick, James, Greg, for the first time this week, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have a report on Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, I don't think we've heard a great deal about him, have we, to be honest with you? He's played beautifully today, 7 birdies on the scorecard, offset, of course, by a smattering of drop shots, sloppy ones too, but he has just hit one to a matter of feet. His approach shot into the 14th green very nearly found the bottom of the cup, so he's going to have a little kick in birdie, which will see him move up even further up this leaderboard to get to 10 under par alongside Chris Gotterup and Matt Fitzpatrick. This is changing all the time, isn't it? But Wyndham Clark is actually just about to plop his ball down now on the screen, but he's been brilliant. He's been fantastic this afternoon. So yeah, let's see if he can get himself up there.
Okay, Houghton Lee needs this, otherwise he's dropping back to 10.
From 13, 14 feet from the back of the green. Little bit of right to left on this putt, looks to me anyway, as he settles over it. This to save par for the Chinese player, and it comes from that right side, and it doesn't quite take the swing that he was hoping for, and it stays above ground. It's going to be a bogey for Houghton Lee, and that means that he will drop out of second place and down into a share of second place with Chris Gotterup and Matt Fitzpatrick. It is a drop from outright to you start laughing at me, Mark. It's to a share. I'm rescuing this, please, come on.
Oh dear.
Scottie Scheffler right here, he's got a pretty straight look at it. Still trying to figure out exactly how far it is, but it can only be 7-10 feet at the most.
It is one of those that got closer the nearer we got.
It really did. I thought it was around 20 feet, but it's got closer and closer, and another great look at birdie here. There's not a lot going on, and it's slightly uphill. Another great opportunity.
So he got to 17 under par when he birdied the 5th, and then he had a couple of outrageous par saves at the 6th and the 7th in the context of the number of times that he has done this over the last 2 days. And then he had the double bogey, slipped back to 15 under, got it back to 16 under at the 9th. So he's 5 clear of Lee Houghton at the moment, but he's going to drop to 10 under. So effectively he's 6 clear, and he can go back to 7 clear here from 9 feet, I'm going to call it. He was absolutely inch perfect with the distance of his approach, and he sends the putt forward, and he's not inch perfect with that because it just misses to the left, and he has to settle for a par. Oof. 16 under and 6 shots clear.
I think he's getting nervous.
I don't think he is. Well, you'd never know, would you? You just would never know. Now, let's see. Houghton Lee having to putt with loads of people just sort of making their move. He taps it in, and he makes his par 4. And Mark, we're going the Ollie Wilson shortcut to the 11th. And this is a weird and wonderful path that we're going to take. But we're going to struggle to talk to you on the air while we do it.
Well, okay then. Whilst I'm following the same route, but I'll persevere with the talking as Ollie storms on ahead through the undergrowth, and we could go to Corey Connors live with Andy Stevenson.
Corey, 6 yesterday and a 66 today. Are you looking back on Thursday and thinking, oh, if I could have put a good round together on that opening day, I would be right up there?
Yeah, you nailed it. Got off to a slow start this week. I felt good about my game. There was some good golf in there, and unfortunately didn't get off to the start that I wanted on Thursday, and put myself a little too far behind. But really proud of the couple of rounds on the weekend. Felt like did a lot of things really well.
Tell us about how it feels too. I think you had 5 birdies in 6 holes, didn't you, around the turn today? That must feel really special.
Yeah, it was great. I was kind of stuck in neutral on the front 9, and just remained patient. I knew I'd give myself some opportunities, and I was able to do that and then convert them, which was nice. Lots of great approach shots, and I was able to hold some putts.
And what have you made of the overall Portrush experience?
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything about it, the golf course, the town, this area. It's a beautiful part of the world. I think it's an amazing test of golf, and I look forward to hopefully coming back here again.
Thanks for speaking to us, Corey.
Thank you.
Blimey, Ollie, I don't think I can get a microphone to him at the moment. Half expecting David Attenborough to pop up.
It's a little shortcut I managed to find if you can avoid the crowds. But hopefully, if we time it right, we'll just appear just before the tee shots are hit, and we'll have lapped all the other commentators on the course.
We've gone through undergrowth, we've gone through knee-high bushes and brambles and thistles. We're now walking through sand, and we're still not quite yet at the 11th fairway. In fact, tempted to stop where the ice cream van is in the middle of nowhere, just to our right at the moment. Where am I going? I think I'm going to cat whilst I try and catch my breath here.
Matt Fitzpatrick putting for birdie, another that misses from about 25 feet. We've taken the same route as you, actually, Mark. Just be careful. We caught a man having a wee down there in the sand dunes. Took him rather by surprise, didn't we? But we made it up in time. Perfect route plotted by Katrina Matthew through those sand dunes. It's heavy going in the loose sand underfoot, isn't it? It takes your breath away. In time to see Rory McIlroy's tee shot plunge into the rough down the right hand side. And when we've seen Scottie Scheffler respond so well to that double bogey setback for him, McIlroy with a double bogey to start the back nine on the 10th, looking to bounce back here on 11. The drive found the thick rough down the right hand side. Second shot plunged into the deep pot bunker to the front left face of the green. Beautiful shot from the sand from McIlroy. Nearly went in. Huge roar from the crowd, the loudest we've heard for a while. Katrina Matthew.
Yeah, he did. He had a fantastic little shot out. Didn't have much green to work with, and it just skirted past that left edge.
He will have, well, it's probably about 2-3 feet for a par here at the 11th to stay at 8 under, tumbling from 10 under par after that double bogey on the 9th. Matt Fitzpatrick, though, hasn't lost his turn, and it will be Fitzpatrick to putt first here for his par from 4 feet. We've seen him miss a couple of these from this distance. Fitzpatrick at 10 under par in that knot of players in a tie for second, and it goes for Fitzpatrick as Rory McIlroy just glances in our direction and up at the little grandstand which is away behind us. And now it's over to Rory McIlroy from just inside the Fitzpatrick putt from about 3 feet, and this to save his par, which would be a pretty good result given he's missed the fairway and he was deep in the bunker. Blue shirt, those stone, I'm going to say stone, Mark. You're right, they're not quite custard. They haven't got the yellow tinge of custard and the widening of the stance. This for par for Rory McIlroy to stay at 8 under. Oh, it took the helter-skelter route into the hole, but it's in. It's safely in for Rory McIlroy. Still the shoulders slumped from the Northern Irishman. He's looking back at the hole, and he's looking back down the course, and he's wondering, well, is that it? Is that my race run? 8 under par. He's 8 shots off the lead.
Just all gone wrong, Graham Storm, hasn't it, really, at this moment for him?
Yeah, it's all gone very flat for Rory McIlroy. Obviously the double bogey at 10 has kind of killed his momentum, if he had any momentum in that case. But yeah, obviously he's going to have to try and make another miraculous eagle down 12.
Alex Maselli, US golf journalist, has joined us. You come out to join us expecting drama?
No, I'm really trying to figure out why I'm out here with you right now, quite honestly. I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, and it's pretty much coming out to fruition what was happening, and everybody got all excited about the double bogey by Scheffler. You watch Scheffler, when he makes a double, what does he do after that? You know, I mean, look, this is not an easy golf course. He's making it look easy, and everybody else is trying to come after him. But when you do that, you make mistakes, you start losing shots. And so you're playing right into his hands.
That's exactly it, isn't it, Graham? You know, we could easily have a discussion about why nobody can maintain a challenge, but what that reason is: chasing, consistency, the gap being what it was at the start of play, the gap very quickly rising to 7 under because of a gap of 7 shots between Scheffler and the field because of his fast start.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. He's obviously such a great front runner, so then he's just splitting the field and he's just getting further and further away. He's just so good and so clinical, and obviously other people in the field are obviously looking through different lenses as well. People are looking at trying to get as many points as they possibly can for Ryder Cup, for FedEx points and DP World Tour points. So
do you think that starts to play a point, but is actually a big part that we haven't necessarily spoken about that much because we've got all this attention on winning the Claret Jug?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, everybody's looking further ahead as well, and looking to try and get into those positions. You can look at like Sir Tyrrell Hatton, who plays on the Live Tour. He'll be trying to get as many points as he possibly can for the Ryder Cup, so he doesn't rely on a pick for Luke Donald. And Luke Donald and Keegan Bradley will be looking at this and seeing what players turn out great results. And obviously got her up winning the Scottish Open last week and then doing so well this week. He's looking to move right up that in contention.
If you look at Bryson DeChambeau throughout the first round, played brilliantly, and now in the press conference after his round, which is the lower round of the day, he was very emotional about being on the Ryder Cup team. And I think, and there's a guy that, clearly is going to be on the Ryder Cup team, but really emotional about wanting to be on the team and wanting to beat the Europeans.
Hao Tong Lee then with his second shot from the middle of the fairway here at the 11th. With Scottie Scheffler just in the left semi-rough. No trouble though for the leader. And this is Hao Tong Lee's second shot, really high trajectory, the flag in the left front of the green, and that one missing just to the left. And that's what happens if you go pin hunting. He short-sided himself down in that little hollow.
Yeah, as soon as he hit it, he had his hand off his club. He pulled it probably 10-15 feet. Pins tucked right on that front left side, so really was probably aiming just right of it, trying to give himself a chance, but that's not ideal right there.
The bearded Scheffler, 6 feet 3 inches tall, light trousers, navy blue shirt and white cap. And he sends this one in, just giving it a slight lean, trying to influence the ball. It looks good. It lands just to the left of the flag. It settles down, and he's given himself a look at birdie of around about 20 feet. Once again, just exemplary front-running golf from Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah, again, just a really good solid shot. Probably pulled it a fraction. I think he was giving it a little lean, but it's what, 6 feet left of the flag. It's almost perfect again from there.
You'd take it, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was in the first cut. He had a good angle in there. Really good opportunity. 7 out of 10.
There's a cheer from somewhere. Where anybody want to put their hand up? No, good, excellent. Anybody still there wanted to talk to us? Ali?
I've been to the pub, Mark. For a couple of... No, I haven't, seriously. I'm still walking. Graham Storm's ditched me to hang out with you for the back nine of this Open Championship. I've stuck with Xander Schauffele and Tyrrell Hatton. I'm actually looking at Schauffele now, marching his way down onto the green of the par 3 13th. Thousands of spectators, as they have been all week, gathered around this par 3 and the 17th green next door. He's almost imperceptibly slid into a tie for second here. Really steady, solid stuff today. He's just birdied the par 5 12th, his third birdie of the day, and it's got him to 3 under for the round and 10 under for the championship. And Tyrrell Hatton I'll tell you about in a bit.
Okay. James Gregg?
Just looking at Wyndham Clark here on this 15th green, looking for what would be a 9th birdie of his final round. It would put him in solo second if he were to knock it in. Of course, he nearly holed out on the previous hole, the US Open champion of 2023. And the way this is going, the Royal Portrush members will be pretty relieved. And I say that because earlier on in the week we found out that the members at Oakmont had banned him after his outburst and smashing up of a few lockers after a particularly torrid US Open just last month. Here he is though, standing over a putt to put a smile on his face and become the nearest challenger of sorts to Scottie Scheffler. The ball on its way now, it's on a very good line. Oh, a bend of the knees for Wyndham Clark. He's on a bit of a purple patch here. All of these birdies have been coming around the turn. He can't find another one here at the 15th mark. 5 under on the day and 10 under for the championship and in a tie for second.
Yeah. For birdie from the depression just to the left. Hao Tong Lee putting. Oh, it's in! Rattles against the flag and disappears, and a bashful smile on his face, and even a smile on Scheffler's face as well. That could have gone off the front of the green. It was really travelling, but it hit smack on the flag and it disappeared, and it's a birdie.
That was a 2-shot swing for Hao Tong there. Coming up over from the hollow, it was absolutely flying towards the front of that green. But nice little fortune there. Maybe get a little spark for him on that last stretch of holes.
So that gets him back to 12 under par. And of course, the nearly called him the champion-elect, shall we call him. Scottie Scheffler is at 16 under. So for the moment, he's within 4.
but Scheffler will have had a good look at that. Very similar line, about 20, 21 feet.
Yeah, something like that, slightly down the green. Just coming up maybe on the crest of the hill for the first 10 feet. But then after that it turns a little right to left. Nothing too much to worry about pace-wise.
Here he goes then, sends it on its way to that downhill portion, turns towards the hole, looks good, oh, just shaves the left edge. And it's only a par for Scottie Scheffler, so he will remain at 16 under par, but the lead now down to 5 because of that birdie from Hao Tong Lee, who reassumes that position in second place outright, bouncing back from the bogey at 10 mark, and so he's at 11 under par.
He needed that to hit the pin, didn't he, Graham Storm?
He certainly did. Good job the pin got in the way and went into the hole, because it could have quite easily gone down the slope, which would have then run it away around about 50 yards down the fairway.
John Murray.
Oh, happenings here. Harris English has just rolled in from 35 feet for an eagle at the 12th. He's 11 under par. And from much closer, Chris Gottrup, also with a chance for eagle to go to 12 under. He's over it now. This is 14 feet. On its way. Oh, he's missed it. He's missed it. What an opportunity missed by the American.
Well, it's just topside. He thought he'd hold it as well, but really good effort. What a second shot. Maybe I spoke too soon before about the momentum.
Nevertheless, it is a birdie for him, and both Harris English and Chris Gottrup are both now 11 under for the championship, so that is alongside Hao Tong Lee, isn't it, Mark?
It is, exactly, and they are all 5 behind the world number 1, Scottie Scheffler. If you go then behind them, you've got Wyndham Clark on 10 under, you've got Xander Schauffele on 10 under, Matt Fitzpatrick is on 10 under, Bryson DeChambeau in the clubhouse on 9 under, Corey Connors also on 9 under in the clubhouse, Ricky Fowler on 8 under. The big cheer, by the way, that you heard earlier was for Bob McIntyre, who's also got to 8 under. And he's playing 15 now. Nikolai Højgaard is 8 under. Russell Henley is 8 under. Tyrrell Hatton is 8 under and level par for his round today. And the final player to mention on 8 under is Rory McIlroy, who is also level par for his round today and will be further down this par 5 12th, Catherine.
He is. Monster drive from Rory McIlroy. Took the driver off the tee. The brave move from the world number 2, and it's paid off for him. He's a good 30-40 yards further down the fairway than Matt Fitzpatrick, who's just found the left rough shy of the green. But Rory McIlroy looking to make an eagle here, looking to replicate the roar and the fireworks and the excitement that he ignited around this green here yesterday when he made that eagle that gave him a hope, gave him a sniff of the claret jug. Here he is after a double bogey on the 10th at 8 under par. 8 shots off the lead. Second shot coming into this little green that's perched up above the slope of the fairway, trickling round to the left-hand edge for Rory McIlroy. I think he'd have wanted it a bit closer than that.
Definitely, just had 203 yards in there, the pin on the back right, and he's just kind of left out there on the left-hand side, and it just managed to trickle onto the left side of the green.
So he will have an eagle putt, will Rory McIlroy, but it's going to be a good 50-60 feet right the way across the green. The pin perched on the right-hand edge, his ball clinging on to the left. Matt Fitzpatrick at 10 under par in the rough down the left-hand side.
And maybe Katrina, God blimey, it's difficult. Maybe Katrina, when if he was to eagle it, it would just give him a bit of energy for the inward stretch.
Yes, definitely, because Kat and myself were just saying this group's just seems to be lacking a little bit of energy. The crowd, the kind of that fizz and sizzle in the crowd's just kind of gone out of it a wee bit, and you can just see the players as well. They keep looking at the leaderboards. They're just kind of looking down. They're just looking a little disconsolate. They're trying their hardest, but they just can't get the putts to fall, and they just see Scottie. So yeah, I think a whole putt here from McIlroy would give this group a huge boost.
Yeah, just listen though, Mark. He's walking down the fairway towards us now. And remember how loud it was yesterday. Just listen. This is the reception for Rory McIlroy today. There's applause, but it's nothing like it was over the first 3 days of this championship. He's still taking the time though to look up. He's still taking the time to wave to the stands, and he's still taking the time to engage himself in this championship. But nowhere near the reception, the adulation that we've seen over the opening days of this championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's waving to the crowd and they're still cheering him onto every green. You know, it's a homecoming from him after winning the Grand Slam, with winning the Masters this year. But Rory himself, he'll be wanting to give them something. He'll be wanting to give them that energy.
And there's a sense, though, Mark, that it's not going to be Rory McIlroy's year this year.
The applause today is akin to being at Lord's and somebody hitting 50 off 150 balls in a test match, which would get that polite ripple. And the noise yesterday was somebody akin to hitting 100 at Edgbaston off 30 balls in a blast game, and that's the difference between the two, really. Ian Carter has news of the drives back down the fairway here on 12.
Yep, both players in the final pairing. Haotong Lee first, courtesy of his birdie at the 11th, which brought him to 11 under par, within 5 of Scottie Scheffler. He found the fairway first, and Scottie Scheffler replied in kind. Took the bunkers out of play as well. Careful play by Scheffler.
Yeah, I think he's hit a fairway wood off that tee just to take this far bunker out, because the fairway gathers into it and there's no way of reaching the green from there. So taking that out, sensible play, giving himself a second shot into the green from a little further back. But there's not a whole lot of protection around this par 5 green other than short right. So he's got room to move it in from the left and get it into the heart of the green.
Playing just shy of 540 yards this par 5 today, both in the fairway, both can have a look at finding the green in 2.
Alex Maselli has a question for you, Ollie.
Ali, so do you think at this point that Scheffler has to do any more, or do you think he's still got to press it and try to make 1 or 2 more?
I think he just has to keep doing exactly what he's doing. Playing, I have noticed today he seems to have been aware of the situation and adjusted course management wise on a couple of shots around at the green. There, especially hitting a fairway wood there, I think he hit drive at the Estee, although the wind is slightly different, but I think he's going to just continue the same game plan. He's certainly looking in good shape. There's nothing that is alarming that he's going to have to change, so just keep executing the shots, I think.
He has Graham Stone, doesn't he? 2, including this one, 2 par 5s to come.
Yeah, I mean, just this par 5.
This is the last one, yeah.
Yeah, this is the last par 5 that he can really capitalise on. I mean, I think it'd be quite interesting, obviously, if Ted's had any influence after making the double bogey on 8. Maybe he's had a word in his ear and said, look, let's play it safe, boss.
Cat.
Rory McIlroy's eagle putt. It is a long shot for Rory McIlroy here on the 20th. 50 feet, 55 feet from the back left edge to the front right edge of this elevated green. Thousands of people trained on this little white ball as it makes its way across the green. Looking good for Rory McIlroy. Closer and closer for Rory McIlroy. Swish of the putt ahead from Rory McIlroy tells you that it just needed 3-4 rotations and it would have been in.
It was a great putt, just left it a foot short. Looked like it was in the jaws. There are a few in the crowd shouting, get in.
They're hopeful, aren't they? They still hope, they still believe for Rory McIlroy. He is going to mark that. It's just a couple of feet shy for McIlroy. He'll have that for his birdie, and that will get him back to 9 under par. Double bogey, though, on the 10th has really dinted his chances, really sucked the energy out of Royal Portrush today. And Matt Fitzpatrick has a putt for birdie here, but he was so tentative, wasn't he, with his chip from the rough. It's just a bit spooked by the big runoff behind the flag that bumps down towards that deep hollow. Didn't want to have anything to do with that.
No, he had a slightly heavy line, a little bit of grass behind the ball, and you just never quite know how it's going to come out. And it just came out a little bit dead, but he couldn't afford to go long. Just putting now for his birdie.
Here he goes, walking after it. I don't think he likes it. He was up and out of that straight away. McIlroy with a couple of feet for birdie to come, but for now, James Gregg, what have you got?
I've got a birdie putt here for Wyndham Clark to get to 11 under par, the former US Open champion, with birdies at 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12 and 14. He's been on a bit of a heater today, offset by drop shots at at number 10 and at number 2. Here he is then, Wyndham Clark, the American, just going to have one final little glance at this one. It's a packed grandstand, expectant, of course, for those groups to come behind. But here we are, Wyndham Clark to get to 11 under. And dead still now, just a little shuffle of the feet, 12 feet dead straight up the hill. And on the way... No, Catherine Downs, back to you.
Birdie for Rory McIlroy. That's the last of the par fives, the last of the big chances to make an eagle. He birdied the 7th, the par 5 there, birdied the 2nd. He's birdied the 12th. He hasn't picked up the big strides he wanted to on those par 5s, chasing down Scottie Scheffler, but he's back to 9 under par, 7 shots off the lead. Long way to go for Rory McIlroy if he's to harbour any more hopes as we head to the 13th with 6 holes left.
John Murray? With Harris English and Chris Gotterup both tied for second on 11 under par, but both have set themselves up with birdie chances. Gotterup is only 5 feet, but Harris English now first. This from 20 feet, maybe a little bit more. Now he's on the wander immediately. As soon as he hit that, he knew it wasn't going to be enough and just walks up to it in this measured style of his, taps it in. So it's a par 3 for him to remain at 11 under, so that is 5 behind Scheffler's lead. And now Gotterup, having agonisingly missed the chance for eagle at the last hole, but he has got another birdie chance here, Andrew Murray, and it's a good one.
Another supreme iron shot, wasn't it? This beautiful par 3, this playing a bit shorter than the 190 from the back tee, 5 bunkers around it, huge bunkers, huge galleries, and we've got a marvellous view of this from about 50 feet above the green on the next tee. For me, John, it's slightly right centre, maybe right lip. He's just got to be a little bit aggressive with it because it's up the ramp a fraction.
So here we go again with Chris Gotterup, the birthday boy. Weak shadows being cast currently by the sun across this 13th green, which feels it's like the epicenter of Royal Portrush here, with people gathered, scores and scores in between the yellow ropes, 2 stands on either side, the 17th green just a few yards away, big hospitality pavilion, and Chris Gotterup trying to get, for the first time, to 12 under par in his first Open Championship. Here he is, all in lilac, sending the ball right into the hole, beautifully judged. Pace was perfect.
Absolutely, club dead centre. We had such a great view of that jump from up here on the next tee. It was never looked like missing.
So there we are, Chris Gotterup second on his own again. That's 12 under par. So the lead is again back down to just the 4 shots.
The tingle back?
Not quite.
It's still there. It might be a little bit of sciatica, I don't know.
Ian Carter. We've had the second shots here at the par 5 12th. Scottie Scheffler's missed the green to the left, but he's missed on the correct side, so he's got a routine chip onto the green for his third shot to the par 5. Hao Tong Lee, obviously looking to force the issue, went much more aggressively towards the flag, but all the contours, if you go to that back right pin location, will reject the ball, and his ball tumbled off the green and way down below the putting surface.
Yeah, I think he got a little excited there. He had about 210 yards, and it looked like he liked the shot, judging by his reaction. He hit it straight at the flag, which is just not doable with those contours, and now he's left himself probably 10 feet below the surface of the green. Quite a large mound to come up and over, just completely short-sided, and it's going to be a really tricky chance to get him to try and give himself a chance at birdie.
Yeah, the hole has been cut just 4 paces off the right edge of the green. That's the side that he has missed, and interestingly, he's pulled the putter out, so he's going to be putting up a very, very almost vertical slope before it reaches the tabletop green.
Yeah, the awkward part is he's coming up like the crest of the hill, so if it goes one side or the other of those, it could veer off that direction. So I thought there was a chance he might lob it up with an open face lob wedge and take that out, but he's feeling a little more comfortable in this situation with a putter, which I totally can understand.
Now Scheffler, meanwhile, has got wedge in the hand. He's got about 4 paces until he reaches the putting surface. So would you expect him just to sort of nudge this through the air onto the green and then let it release down to the hole?
I think he's going to just bump back in his stance, just carry it onto the green and let it feed down. Doesn't need to carry it too far. The green will do some of the work for him.
The Open, the 153rd Open on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Scheffler, the leader, does exactly as described by our summariser Oliver Wilson, and that ball trundles down towards the hole, and he's put it to within 7 or 8 feet. So a real good look at birdie. Scheffler currently 16 under par with a 4-shot lead as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, that was a little cautious for him, as similar to many of these greens. As if he'd have got a little heavy-handed, it runs off down towards where Hao Tong Lee's about to play from. So again, just taking the mistakes out of play and still giving himself a good chance. The way he's putting is definitely the way to play.
Early evening now, and the brightest and fiercest sunlight of the afternoon coming down and casting really vivid shadows among the players and the officials and the spectators. Just a seething mass of humanity all over this magnificent links in Northern Ireland, on the very northern tip of Northern Ireland. And Hao Tong Lee of China is putting from the mown area, tightly mown area, just to the right of the green. He's got to climb about 11 feet. Up the ball goes at a rate of knots, and down it comes at even greater rate of knots. And that's probably as good as he could do, because he's put it, I don't know, 15 feet by the hole.
Yeah, I would say he was just very conscious of leaving it back down at his feet. If he didn't hit it hard enough, it would have come right back down there. But really the mistake was the second shot in. He had loads of room to the left, all the way over. Even 10 yards left of the green is still fine where Scottie Scheffler played from. So second shot error, and it's left himself a tough chance for birdie.
We've got a grandstand immediately in front of us behind this 12th green. Then there's a grandstand behind the 13th tee. That's the next hole at par 3, straight downhill. And then if I turn my eyes away to the right, I can see the huge grandstand that horseshoes around the 18th green, and that is absolutely packed. People standing and sitting all around the natural amphitheatre that is the bowl that this 12th green sits in as well. And everyone, I think, in respectful admiration for the front-running golf that we're witnessing from Scottie Scheffler. It's not, doesn't look like it anyway, going to be a cliffhanger by any stretch of the imagination. But we are seeing the world's best golfer playing the kind of golf that has made him the world's best golfer. And you can only admire that, as he almost inevitably will move towards the third leg of the career Grand Slam in the next hour and a half or so. Hao Tong Lee then has played 3 shots on this par 5. This for birdie, hasn't lost his turn. Around about 15-16 feet, putting to the back right corner of this 12th green, and no, it won't drop for him, so it means it's only going to be a par for Lee, and he will remain at 11 under. Cat.
Feels like all of Portrush is here, doesn't it, Ian? In all this little knot of holes, I can see Scottie Scheffler and Hao Tong Lee on the 12th green behind me. Meanwhile, here in the hollow, just below that 12th green, the 13th awaits for the leader, Scottie Scheffler, and Matt Fitzpatrick is just tidying up before he takes on this birdie putt for about 35 feet, Katrina Matthew?
Yeah, 35 feet back up the hill, pins just at the front, back up the hill, a little bit right to left. So he's just got to try and keep the pace up in this one. He's come up a bit short in a few.
He sends it with a big wrap up that hill, up towards the flag. Is it going to get there? Does it have the legs? Gets up to the side of the hole, just a little bit off on the line. He will tap in for a par. That was to try and get him to 11 under, but he's at 10 under, 6 off the lead here.
Scottie Scheffler's lead on the 12th green, 4 shots, he's 16 under par. Chris Gotterup, the champion at the Renaissance Club in Scotland in the Scottish Open last week, is in second place at 12 under par. This to get the lead back to 5 shots for a birdie for Scottie Scheffler from 5 or 6 feet here. Sends the ball forward, and yes, straight into the hole. Just another glorious, glorious birdie from Scottie Scheffler as he moves inexorably towards his first Open title.
Just playing really sensible golf down that par 5. Took the bunkers out of play, played down the left side, eliminated all the mistake and all the trouble that Hao Tong had, and textbook 4.
17 under, Cat.
Ripple of applause though for Scottie Scheffler. Imagine the noise if this birdie putt drops for Rory McIlroy just a few yards away from him. He's left it short as well coming up the hill as Rory McIlroy. Frustrated twitch of the putter again. How many times have we said that today? He's left it 2.5 feet shy for a par for Rory McIlroy. He's just not been able to get this round going. Really derailed by that double bogey for him on the 10th. Birdie for him though on the par par 5 12th, which Scottie Scheffler too has just birdied to restore that lead at the top at 17 under par. And now McIlroy just a couple of feet up the slope and into the hole, and louder applause here, I'd say, for McIlroy's par than it was for Scheffler's birdie.
It was actually, yeah. This is a great spot to watch. Stands on either side, and the crowd there, I think they're just loving being able to come and see Rory. They don't often get to see Rory. They're wishing him to try and just get those birdies in.
I think they're just getting to that stage of the championship now where they're realising, you know, it's not going to happen for Rory McIlroy, and they just want to enjoy him, and they want to send him off with a whole load of love in his heart.
Absolutely. I think they don't get to see him often playing in his home country, so I think, as you say, they're enjoying watching him play, and I think they're just appreciating and giving him that love for the career he's had, winning the Grand Slam.
5 holes left. I think we're going to sit back and enjoy watching Rory McIlroy as well, aren't we? Bring him home and send him off.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been great walking around with him. As you say, I think the whole of Port Rush is out here watching him today.
And will she leave Ian Carter to do all the work?
Why not?
Lovely stuff. Ian, back to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Catherine. Right, we have hot-footed it to the 13th, the par 3 known as Featherbed, and it'll need to behave like a featherhead if any of these tee shots are to finish anywhere near this flag, because it is located in the front right corner, and there's a bunker that guards the front left corner here. 2 bunkers just to the right of the green, 2 to the left of the green, and you've got to somehow get this ball to land softly.
Yeah, the benefit today is the wind's back into, so about 188 yards down the hill. And for Scottie, there's no need to even mess with that front bunker. You can hit it right into the middle of the green and just let the wind land it nice and softly.
So Scheffler, with his birdie at the 12th, has moved to 17 under par. Shane Lowry won this in 2019 at 15 under par by 6 shots, so that puts into context, although I think the weather was somewhat wilder over the weekend than what we've enjoyed, so enjoyed this week. Yesterday the weather was just sensational. Of course, it was pretty hostile on Friday, but this is a masterclass from the 2-time Masters champion. Won at Augusta in 2022. Remember, he won that at a canter, could even 4-putt the last green. Won at a canter in 2024 at Augusta for his 2nd Masters title, won by 5 at the US PGA. Indeed, he'd be the first to win his first 4 majors by 3 shots or more in the modern era of the game. This is the talent that we're talking about. And he's just teed it up on the very left side of this teeing ground, just to give himself the best angle that he feels for this tee shot to the flag, which is located, as I say, in the front right corner. And he eases through that swing. That footwork is still trademark, but he's hit a wonderful shot. He's just carried it onto the front edge of the green, let gravity do the rest, and the ball comes down and comes to within 5, 6, 7 tops feet from the hole. Just brilliant.
Well, the result is brilliant, but that's the first time I've seen him get the distance control slightly wrong. It carried that front bunker by 2 feet and just caught the downslopes, but he'll be very, very happy with the way it's finished.
But he had the height. He had the height that meant that it could land softly.
Oh yeah, I mean this par 3 188 is probably 15 yards down the hill, so it's going to come in from a high elevation and just fraught with danger on that front trap. And it was very close, but not worried about it now.
Tell you what, you make your own luck, don't you?
You need some luck to win tournaments, that is for sure, and he doesn't seem to rely on it too much, though.
Well, there we are. Here comes Hao Tong Lee with his tee shot now. Nice balanced follow through for the 29-year-old, and this one heading down towards the green, but just missing to the left. He'll be able to putt from there, a couple of paces to the putting surface. But Scottie Scheffler, well, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. Ollie thinks he was a bit fortunate, but either way, he's set up another birdie opportunity. He's got the chance to move to 18 under par.
You're a hard taskmaster, Ollie, aren't you?
Well, given how unbelievably well his distance control has been for the entire week, well, the entire year, that was one of the bigger misses that I've actually seen, so I'm going to have to call him out on something. There's not much you can, but he's been faultless. But, you know, look, the result is 7 feet.
Yeah, Graham Storm just sort of shrugged at me.
It's just like it's inevitable, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He's just hit a beautiful iron shot into around about 8-9 feet. Obviously got a little bit of luck landing it just on the front of the green, clambering over the bunker. But like Ollie says, you need a little bit of luck, and he doesn't rely on it that often. But it's just, it must be heart-sickening for the guy that he's playing with, Hao Tong Lee. He must be thinking, what do I have to do? I can't really do any more than I've been trying to do all week. But this guy is just unbelievable, and it is Tiger-esque.
The gap is 5. I'm told you wanted it, John.
Well, we have 2 outside birdie chances for Gutterup and Harris English. Gutterup has put it from 40, 50 feet. He's left it, well, maybe 2 or 3 feet to finish off. Harris English likewise. This is to get him to 12 under. It's a little closer. Have you news there?
What did you say?
Did you want it back, did you say?
No, I couldn't hear you because of the applause from the grandstands of Scottie Scheffler coming. I'll just nip to what Wyndham Clark's doing on 18, because he's likely to be the clubhouse leader here.
Yes, he is, Mark. He's just rocked in another birdie there at number 17. A beautiful approach shot down the hill, tidied it up. He's now at 12 under par. And Brian Harman, Open champion of 2 years ago, has also just made a birdie. So he's now at 7 under par for the championship.
Yeah. So the players have arrived, and I think that's the warmest applause we've heard so far for Scottie Scheffler. I think the mood of the crowd has switched from, desperate hope for a Rory McIlroy charge. I think there's an acceptance that that's not happening, and I think that the fans here are now recognising what we've been saying this is, and that is just an extraordinary performance from the best player in the world.
All lucky on this hole.
Yes, all lucky. But either way, did you not think that was the warmest and loudest applause that we've heard?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think, the previous birdies, but I think there's just been that, he's got another one. That means we're not going to get much of a competition here kind of vibe to the way the crowds have reacted to him. Anyway, here's Hao Tong Lee putting from just off the left of the green down the hill. This looks pretty good, It comes down, just sways away to the left. That should be a cast iron par 3 for the Chinese player.
Yeah, that's a really good effort from 50 feet across the green. Just left himself a little bit of work to do downhill, left to right, but as you say, should be easy work for him.
What's Scottie Scheffler seeing here?
Well, the bottom of the hole most of the time. It's slightly downhill, fraction of right to left. Nothing to worry about pace-wise. Again, just a really good place to leave the ball.
If you just joined us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, it's Scottie Scheffler who leads after 12 holes of the final round at 17 under. Chris Gotterup, the champion in Scotland last week, at 12 under par, 4 under for the 13 holes he's played. Wyndham Clark on the 18th, 6 under for his round, so a par for a 65 for him. He's at 11 under, as is Harris English. Both of those pushing for Ryder Cup places in the American team, both at 11 under. Hao Tong Lee should remain at 11 under here on the 13th. Xander Schauffele's picked up 3 shots today. He's at 10 under, same mark as Matt Fitzpatrick, with Bryson DeChambeau after a brilliant 64 in the clubhouse at 9 under, same mark as Corey Connors, with Bob McIntyre 16 holes into his round in the group at 9 under. If it wasn't for Scottie Scheffler, we would be having the most almighty tournament here. But Scheffler has just accelerated away over this glorious weekend at Royal Portrush, and here he is now looking to extend his lead with a birdie on the 13th, and he knew from the moment he struck it that he'd left it too far out to the right and will have to tap in for a par.
Yeah, a little bit of gesturing as he hit that, or just straight after he hit that. I don't think it came back. He read it, probably tried to hit it 2 balls outside the right edge, and it just never moved. So a little disappointed, but he'll retreat to his bubble and move on to the next.
Misread or miss it?
I think that was a misread. It looked like it was high as soon as he hit it, but he stood back as soon as he had moved, and was kind of a little unsure of what had actually happened. It just didn't do what he thought.
And there was just a flicker of frustration there with his hand gesture.
I was do you want to do this putt and then?
Yeah, I might as well. So this is the par save for Hao Tong Lee, just straight back up the hill from a couple of feet, and then there'll be a stampede from the grandstand next to us, because this is the last action they'll see on this 13th green. It's over it now, Very good looking putting style and stance, and in it goes. And so he remains at 11 under par, 6 shots off the lead, held by Scottie Scheffler, who remains 17
And with
under.
Alex Maselli set to leave us, you just want to leave with 6 of the 10 names on that leaderboard are American.
Yeah, it's very impressive because we started the season with Americans not winning, not being on the leaderboard, and as we're getting closer and closer to Ryder Cup, it's important that you got guys playing well. Unfortunately, there's 6 really good guys, and we got 6 guys that we don't know. Where'd Chris Gottlieb come from? And that's going to be the interesting thing for somebody like Keegan Bradley to have to deal with.
Are you going to be insufferable in New York? You're not Americans, you personally.
If I'm spending time with you, absolutely.
See you later, Alex. Thank you very much for being with us. Graham Storm, we're going to walk on to 14. Ian and Ollie have just gone a little bit ahead. I'm watching Scottie Scheffler as he putts, and we've talked about him being with a... Let's try and scoot round here. We might have to wait, actually, as Bob McIntyre's lining up a putt on 17. We can keep going. Scottie Scheffler's routine is exactly the same with any putt on any green. So he's marked his ball, he goes down on his haunches behind the marker, and he reads the putt. He then goes to the back of the hole, sees the putt in reverse. He then goes to the side and has a look at, should we wait? What should we do here, Graham? We'll pause here.
Yeah, let's not try and get in the way.
No, he goes to the side, doesn't he? And then evaluates it, and then he does 2 or 3 different putts at 2 feet, 5 feet, 8 feet before he then takes his putt.
Yeah, he's just trying to find every little ounce of break within the line of the putt, making sure that he's got everything there that he needs to calculate and make sure he gets the start line right, no stone unturned with every putt that he does, and he does it really well.
Let's go ahead to 14. We've got trapped here by 17 here.
Scottie Scheffler with his tee shot and finding the centre of the fairway. Beautiful tee shot from the world number 1, the man who is dominating this Open Championship. And this is one of the danger holes, but if you get your drive away, get it into the middle of the fairway, then you're not going to have too many problems to make a 4.
No, it's again perfect positioning, leaving himself probably 150 yards into the middle to the front of the green. Just continues to do exactly what he needs to.
Hao Tong Lee with his tee shot, and we look to see where that has landed. He's gone right, and he has found the bunker on the right of this 14th fairway. And so trouble for Hao Tong Lee. Mark off the tee at 14.
Let's go to a Rory birdie opportunity up ahead on the green on 14.
Yep, he's played this hole beautifully, Mark. Long tee shot and then a lovely flick onto the green, which bounced up and has rolled to within 10 feet of the flag. And this would be great. They roared him up onto the green here. The warmth has returned to the cheers. They're just enjoying having Rory McIlroy out here. He may not be contending, but he's trying to move. He's trying to move the camera people and the scorers and the marshals and everybody from behind his line. Matt Fitzpatrick had the same problem, didn't he, with a knot of cameras on the 13th, just getting a little bit irritated by all the spectators. And it's not just the spectators outside the ropes. He's taking the time to acknowledge them, to wave to them, to pick out individuals in the crowd. But there are so many people inside the ropes following Rory McIlroy, and that causing him a bit of a frustration here as he sends this putt on its way. And it misses. It misses from 10 feet, and that's the story of the day for Rory McIlroy, isn't it? That's the best chance he's given himself in a long time, and he hasn't managed to capitalise.
It is. That is the best chance he's had, the shortest chance he's had. And as you say, it's just not his day, and he was out here to try and win it. I think he's just... I mean, I know he's still trying his hardest, but I think that real kind of drive and belief that he could have a chance to win it has gone out of him. It's tough to get up.
The competitive juices are not flowing as freely through Rory McIlroy as they could be. Just a word for Matt Fitzpatrick here as well, because he found some trouble in the bunker down the right hand side, hit it out, great save from the sand, and then he's chipped it up onto the green. Really flat chip that bounced and rolled up towards the hole, nearly went in.
He had a fantastic pitch and run just from probably about 40 yards. He had about 32 yards of green to go, pitched it halfway up, then just let it run out, run up over onto that top level, and as you say, he's hit it in there to about 3 feet.
Enormous flock of seagulls circling
in the blue sky overhead. I think they've located the chip van as Matt Fitzpatrick rolls it in from a couple of feet for his par, but it's par for Rory McIlroy. Disappointing par for Rory McIlroy. He's 9 under par, 8 shots off the lead, and with 4 holes left to play, he's walking down off the tee. He's going to walk through the crowds here, and let's just hear, they've all got their phones out, they're all filming McIlroy. There are some shouts, there is some encouragement for Rory McIlroy, but they know he's not going to win the Open this year.
Just going to go back down the leaderboards where a few of the Englishmen are. Tommy Fleetwood, we heard from him earlier. He finished on 7 under. John Parry finished on 7 under. Remember, he had a hole-in-one yesterday here at Royal Portrush, and also finishing on 7 under today. Justin Rose, 2 under for the day, 7 under for the championship, and he's with Andy Stevenson.
Justin, 7 under, 4 solid rounds, but ups and downs for you this week. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny because I played the first day just so beautifully, so solidly. And then I think the rest of the week, yeah, there was a lot of, you know, interesting stuff in there. You know, didn't make any birdies on the par 5s the first 2 days, dropped a triple in there on the second hole. 8 birdies yesterday on moving day, which I'd love to have kept that round slightly cleaner to give myself more of an opportunity coming into today. You know, it was obviously a long way back, and got off to a great start today. Really felt like there was, again, a low score in me out there, and yeah, I just ran out of momentum a bit today. You know, sometimes 2 balls is a funny thing. I just felt like we got a little bit behind, and I just felt like we were scrambling and rushing and trying to race around to keep pace, and didn't fall into a good rhythm today particularly. But you know, a lot of good golf. Just would say on the weekend wasn't able to make the most of the momentum, especially yesterday when I did make a lot of birdies.
You've been around at the top of this game for a long time. Where would you rank Scottie Scheffler in the ranks of the players you've played against, you know, and now watching him there seemingly dominating this final round?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously when you do play against the best, they make it look easy, right? And you can't quite figure out why they're so good. Obviously, I think that's what strikes you as Scottie. He's definitely uncharacteristic or unconventional in some of his technique and the way he looks. But obviously the golf ball doesn't lie. He plays really strategic golf. He's become a great putter. Like, I think for him to play patient golf and now have the putter as a weapon for him has, I think, made all the difference. It definitely enables him to capitalize on his patient play, because obviously he has such control of his iron shot, so he's able to do that all day long, probably better than most. And if he feels like he's going to hold the odd 15-footer now, that really does play into his strengths. And you know, we know he's got great hands around the green, drives the ball, does everything just really, really well now. So no obvious weakness, and clearly, you know, his record with a 54-hole lead is Tiger-esque. You know, I think back in the day, that was what separated Tiger. You know, you get a lot of guys leading tournaments. It typically is hard to close out, you know, tournaments, and I think we've begun to expect it as the norm now. You think, oh, you're leading by 1 after 54 holes, you should win the tournament. I mean, you're so far away from winning the tournament. But Scottie, Tiger, that's what they're able to do. They're able to put these tournaments away on Sunday better than most. So that's how you get judged at the end of the day.
Well, maybe we can look forward to a couple of contests in New York in September. I just want to ask you about the galleries here. There was a lovely viral clip of you giving a ball to a boy who absolutely made his day. How special are the crowds here, and how special is this venue as an open venue?
Yeah, I mean, the crowds have been absolutely brilliant. It was amazing to hold a part in front of the, you know, full grandstand on 18, you know, yesterday. I really enjoyed that. But all week, you know, obviously I felt like I had good support here this week for sure. You know, they were very, very kind to me, but I feel like if you were able to get into contention, it would have been an amazing feeling playing in front of these crowds. But, you know, even finishing Thursday and Friday so late in the day, some of, you know, we were coming up 18 at sort of 8:30 at night, grandstand still full, whereas other opens tends to thin out at that time. So the crowds here have been absolutely amazing, and you know, the weather's outperformed the forecast and everything. So it's been a really, really enjoyable week, actually, and I love this golf course, love the area, love the place, yeah.
As ever, Justin, thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Justin Rose with Andy Stevenson. What I've loved about a lot of these interviews with the players that Andy has spoken to, when he's asked them about Scottie Scheffler, they've all said something different, really. They've all highlighted something different. Jordan Spieth's done a great answer in the press conference, which I'll read a little bit later on his strength being he wants no part in being a superstar or a celebrity. But Justin Rose is focused on when he leads after 54 holes, others get nervous, he doesn't. And as Justin Rose was saying that, he was stood within about 3 yards of us, Ian, looking as cool as anything, just put a bit of lip balm on, didn't he? Looked around, continued his walk up to the green.
And walking up to his ball, which is safely on that green, it's not it's not adjacent to the flag, it's very close, but to the edge of the right-hand side. But it's a lengthy birdie putt to come for him. And Hao Tong Lee's gone through the back of the green in 3. Let's go to 18 and James.
Where Wyndham Clark has stood over a putt for a round of 64. It's a really, really stunning approach shot that set this up as well. He's been brilliant on this back 9. He's just been so dialed in with his irons, and he raised his fist to celebrate it, and it just slid by. But still a stunning day's golf, a 6 under par 65 for a former US Open champion. He won it at LA Country Club a couple of years ago, and he clasps hands with his fellow American, a former Claret Jug winner in Brian Harman, who won his Open Championship at Royal Liverpool just the month after Clark won his maiden major title. They'll be very pleased with their weeks. Brian Harman finishing the week at 9 under after a round of 67, which included a birdie of his own in front of these emphatic spectators here, who are just providing a sizzling atmosphere. It's going to be a befitting stage for Scottie Scheffler later on. But two potential Ryder Cup teammates for Scottie Scheffler in September time are very pleased with their Open Championship weeks. Wyndham Clark posts the clubhouse lead here at 11 under par.
Ian. Hao Tong Lee chipping from the back of the 14th green, bumping and running it just up and past the flag, and eventually, to his relief, the ball puts the brakes on, because any further impetus and it really would have raced away. But he's got a lengthy putt to save par now, and things just feels like it's just unravelling a bit for the Chinese player.
Yeah, that was a bit of lack of discipline really with his approach. He had about 100 yards into this back flag out of the rough, no way of spinning it, and went straight at this back flag. It's perched right on the back corner with runoff on behind on the side. To me, it was more of a shot that should have been played into the middle of the green and tried to make a slightly longer putt, but he doesn't like backing off, and I think he's going to regret it right there.
Well, as Scottie Scheffler marched back, having surveyed his putt from behind the hole, he really would have had to work very, very hard not to notice the leaderboard that was immediately in his sight line, and it does show him with this commanding lead of 6 shots at 17 under par. And now he is just thinking about the next shot, which is what he seems to do all the way round. He's just got such amazing self-discipline in terms of his routine and the way that he goes through every shot. What do you think of the putt that he's got here?
He's got about 35 feet, slightly up the tee, a little bit of right to left. Can be quite aggressive with the pace. He's not going to be too worried about knocking it past and down the slope. It's on the way. It just comes over the top of the ridge. He's leaning as if he likes it, sort of trying to keep an eye on it. Might have just ran past the hole there, just keeping an eye on what happened as it went past. Pretty good effort, I think.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to make his par 4. Yes, he's just going to come up and tap it in without even bothering to mark it. That was a really, really good putt, the first one. And he taps it in, and he chalks off another hole, and he edges ever closer to the Claret Jug, and he's chalked off one of the danger holes on the back 9.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one to get through. The 15th is not too bad. It's actually an opportunity, maybe even a fairway off the tee. Not too many bunkers to avoid, and short shot in. 16 is obviously tricky, but 17 today with the wind and 18, there's not that much danger left in this round.
Yeah, it's a commanding position that he holds, as he has done basically all the way round, bar that double bogey on the 8th, which fleetingly gave a little bit of hope to the chasing pack, but he shut the door immediately, or certainly narrowed the gap of the door immediately afterwards with a brilliant bounce back birdie at the 9th. Now Hao Tong Lee looking to save his par as a helicopter takes off and comes over, offering massive and great views of the Giants Causeway as it hovers above that part of this coastline. As Lee sends this putt forward, he's missed it, and that is going to be a 6, isn't it? Yeah, that's a double bogey, so he tumbles down the leaderboard. Double bogey for Hao Tong Lee because he drove into the bunker, and he You know, that's the one thing that Scottie Scheffler, bar that double bogey, but never does. He never follows a mistake with another mistake, whereas Hao Tong Lee has done that there and basically has cost himself an awful lot of money.
Yeah, he'll be fuming, not necessarily about the bogey, but the fact that he turned it into a double. There was no need. It's almost like he was chasing to try and think he had a chance of the lead, instead of thinking where the position is actually in on the leaderboard, is fighting for that second place. Just needed a little bit more discipline, and he'll be very frustrated moving on to the 15th.
Yep, he goes off to the 15th tee. So does Scottie Scheffler, par in his pocket, and he remains at 17 under par and well clear.
But again, Ollie, it's the difference, isn't it? It's that fourth round difference. I mean, I think he'd had one bogey on his card, had he, in the first 2 or 3 rounds? There was something ridiculous. He hadn't had a bogey on the front 3. He hadn't had a bogey on the front 9 until today, and then there were 2 on the front 9, and so all those stats were a lot more comfortable in the first 3 rounds. When he's chasing today, understandably, and the pressure is on, that's where he comes unstuck.
And it just highlights the difference between how Scottie plays when he's out of position and how he's able to get out of trouble. And to be honest, not just Hao Tong, but many of the other guys, because they're chasing, they're just trying to force it a little bit. And some of these pins around Portrush are phenomenal. They just tease you into trying to have a go and trying to save that shot because you know you can't afford to drop one. Suddenly you end up with a double bogey and your chances are gone.
And do you know what? We talk about the par 3 16th, which is called Calamity Corner. So that obviously gives it that air of danger and unpredictability. Do you know what Scottie Scheffler's done on Calamity Corner? Don't look at your notes here, and that's cheating. Ollie, do you know what he's done on Calamity Corner in the 3 rounds this week?
Well, I remember he had at least one birdie. I watched that one.
He's birdied it on every single round on Calamity Corner. He's 6 under on the par 3s this week as well, which is the best.
Well, you know, the first 2 rounds, that was off the left into some rain. That's a phenomenal effort, and the pin today is further back in the middle of the green, so that front tee, it kind of doesn't really come into play.
Let's go to Andy Stevenson. The leader in the clubhouse is Wyndham Clark, and he's got him live.
Wyndham, a 65, 8 birdies out there. There could have been more. How are you feeling? Because I'm sure you look back on that opening round with a bit of regret.
Yeah, I'm very bummed with that first round, but you know, I played 16 under from then on, and played really good golf. And yeah, today was tough start, bogeying number 2, but then bounced back and made some nice putts. And you know, there's a couple at the end I wish I had, but all in all, I'm super pleased. I put 3 great rounds in on the weekend, and I'm super happy.
It's your best Open Championship performance so far. Have you enjoyed Portrush?
Yeah, no, I love coming over here. I really do. I've always loved links golf. I love Portrush. We stayed in Port Stewart. It was great. Love the golf course. So it's been a good 2 weeks for me over in the UK, but I'm looking forward to get home.
And listen, I don't know if it matters to you, but from a British or European perspective, we look at this leaderboard and we see all these American names on it. How does it make you feel when you see all of these American players at the top, and of course Scheffler way out in front?
Yeah, I mean, American golf's really good right now. Team USA is going to be really strong this year for the Ryder Cup, and it's fun seeing all the guys play well. So it's I just feel like I said, American golf is really good right now.
Ordinarily at this point on a Sunday, if I was saying to you, you were clubhouse leader, you'd be going back to the clubhouse and maybe, anxiously waiting to see how everybody gets on. But realistically, is Mr. Scheffler going to be holding the claret jug, would you say, in a couple of hours?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Scottie's the best player in the world, and he doesn't miss too many shots, and when he does, it's usually not in a bad spot. So I'll probably pack up and start getting on the road, because I don't think there's any chance I have a chance. So.
Well, incredible 3 rounds and well played all week.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
And very quickly, Ian Cowtree hasn't missed his drive here either, has he?
No, he hasn't. It's an awkward one, this, but he has sent it down the right side of the fairway, so he's got a lovely look at the green for his second shot into this par 4 15.
And up ahead on the 15th green, Rory McIlroy has a birdie opportunity. But honestly, Catherine, you would not know that from the 180, 190 yards back down the fairway, because there was very little reaction to the second shot, I don't think.
There's a good round of applause for Rory McIlroy. They're just hoping to see something. They're hoping that he can finish well, finish positively, take some happy memories away from Portrush this year after the heartache in 2019 when he missed the cut. But this is his best chance we've seen for a long, long time. On the 14th green, he had 15 feet for birdie. He missed that. Here on the 15th green, 10 feet for birdie. Can he drain this? Matt Fitzpatrick, his playing partner, is going to drop a shot here. At least he's putted his par putt up and missed. And here's McIlroy. And there's the roar. The roar is back for Rory, and that'll send a lovely buzz through his body. The birdie drops, he moves to 10 under par, 7 shots off the lead, 3 holes to play. Wouldn't Rory McIlroy dearly have loved a few more of those shouts over this Sunday afternoon, Katrina Matthew?
He would indeed. I mean, he was close in a few, some just kind of skimmed past the edges, but lovely to see that go in. And the crowd here, they've supported him the whole way round, and nice, I think nice for Rory and nice for the crowd just to have a nice finish.
So Rory McIlroy moves to 10 under par, but Matt Fitzpatrick moves from that marker down to 9 under par. A drop shot for the Englishman here on the 15th as we head to Calamity Corner, Mark.
Do you think, Katrina, as I come and sit right next to you, that there will be, I don't know, I don't think you will feel it's a missed opportunity, will you, or what could have been, because of the relentless nature of the leader?
I mean, I think you'll just tip his hat to Scottie Scheffler and say, you know, you just played better than us all. There wasn't really much we could do. He gave it his best. Okay, he's going to look back and see shots he's missed and where he could have picked up shots. But I think they'll all just say Scottie played better than us and there was really nothing we could do.
We will leave you to head to Calamity Corner, and we will sit exactly where you have been sitting, James Gregg.
Yeah, it's a nice spot up there. Don't blame me for taking a pew there. These grandstands will be...
The danger with sitting down, James, is I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get back up.
Yeah, I did make that mistake earlier on when I kind of went missing for a couple of hours. Yeah, that was a bad move. Don't do that. I'm looking at Bob McIntyre, who's sitting down of sorts. He's just getting a final little read of this putt to tidy up for his par at the last. He's had a really decent day today, Bob McIntyre, 4 under on the day. Therefore, this is a putt for a round of 67, and to just sit in a stroke shy of that clubhouse lead and also put him in with a good chance, as he does tidy things up, of bettering his previous best Open Championship record, which came here 6 years ago, Mark. At the moment in a tie for 5th, Bob McIntyre finishes at 10 under par with a round of 67 on Sunday.
North Atlantic continues to be still out in the distance. Giants Causeway, got a perfect view through a tunnel of the holes of Giants Causeway as well. Ollie Wilson sat down, Graham Storm is lying down, Ian Carter has made the decision to stay standing. John Murray quickly.
Applause just dying away here at the 16th after Harris English has hauled another long putt for birdie to go to 12 under par. So he now is alongside his playing partner Chris Gotterup. They are second together, sharing second, obviously a distance behind Scottie Scheffler. But in Ian's imaginary Open Championship without Scheffler, this would be a titanic tussle between these two. Plenty to play for still, obviously. 12 under both.
Right here on the 15th, Hao Tong Lee with a lovely approach shot in from just over 160 yards, absolutely inch perfect in terms of length, and he's left it about 15 feet to the left of the cup.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where he'll be aiming on this. The pin's perched right on the back corner. Not a very easy pin if there was any wind, but given the fact that the wind's almost lied down, it's not the Portrush we were expecting or hoping for at the moment, so pretty good shot.
Anyone who's going back to the mainland of the UK will be looking now and thinking, I've got a really good ferry ride back. It's so calm. And it's as calm as Scottie Scheffler's demeanour as he plays his second shot into the 15th. Oh, another beauty. Right into the heart of the green, left it underneath the hole, and he's got a look at birdie from around about 15, 16 feet.
Yeah, again, just heart of the green, playing really solid, safe stuff. No need to take any of these contours on. Exactly where he's aiming, really.
Okay, let's move ahead to Calamity Corner and Cat.
And Rory McIlroy on the tee of this infamous par 3, balanced on a shelf in the dunes up above the second course here at Royal Portrush. The ball flying through the evening air, and that has plunged down to the right and beyond the green. That's real trouble. That's real calamity area for Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, I think it just hit the top and it's come down. I don't know if it's gone quite all the way down, so it might not be too bad, but attacking the pin, trying to make a birdie.
Huge groan from the crowd behind. It's all or nothing for Rory McIlroy. He's going for broke here, and he was going at this pin that's perched on the right edge of the shelf, and the ball plunged out of view, and the crowd here just had absolutely no idea how far below the level of the green that has gone. Don't think it's as bad as it initially looked from the tee. Matt Fitzpatrick leaning his hips into this one. He's looking after this one concerned. Safely into the heart of the green for Matt Fitzpatrick, and he will have a putt for birdie from 25 feet coming up, Mark.
Thank you very much. Here on 15, the final pair have reached their balls on the green. Scottie Scheffler has marked his, just tossed it to his caddy, and he starts to go through that very familiar routine here, Cat.
Yes, he does, and that involves getting right down, squatting low, heels in the air, behind the ball, just to survey the path that his ball will take. And you get a perspective from behind the hole, don't you, of not just the line, but also the pace, because of whether it's uphill or downhill and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like to always read it from below the hole, because it's easier to gauge the contour, more accurate read. It's always nice to see it from a 360 perspective as well, especially on greens that have so much contour on, just so you don't miss anything. And then once that becomes your routine, you just keep executing it. But he seems to be dialed in right now.
It's about 15 feet, isn't it?
15 feet. Again, I think it's straight up the hill. He keeps leaving it in really good positions where there's not too much break. Just really good looks at birdie all the time.
As I was saying before, it's like a snooker player building a break, just leaving yourself with the easiest possible shot next. And here it is, a birdie putt for the leader, Scottie Scheffler. Oh, just misses on the right edge, and he'll settle for a par, but pars are just all that he needs now. He can just cruise home. 3 holes to go, 3 holes away from the claret jug. Par for Scheffler remains at 17 under par, 3 under par for his round, and just the minimum of fuss. 3 under par for his round with a double bogey 6 on his card. He just got off to such an explosive start and really sucked the atmosphere out of this place. I wonder if that was part of his tactical plan.
To go off fast like that.
Go off fast, just try and silence as much of the roars.
Crush both spectators and competitors alike.
Ruthless, isn't he? Ruthless. Now, what about Hao Tong Lee? Can he bounce back from that double bogey at 14 with a birdie here after a really good approach? Looks good. Oh, yes. Oh, he's got bounce back ability, this boy. The 29-year-old from China slots that back to double digits. He is at 10 under par, 7 behind.
And another man who's on 10 under and in the clubhouse, he shot a 4 under 67 today, is Bob McIntyre, another man live with Andy.
Yeah, he's right in front of me now. Bob, what's the mood? Because it's another strong showing at a major, but not quite as high as you'd want to be, I'm sure.
Yeah, look, it's difficult when you're chasing the best player in the world. But going out there today, it was to try and finish as high as I could. I got off to a decent start again. Obviously a disappointing bogey on the 4th. Just played a tough hole this week, but no, just delighted the way I stayed patient, stayed calm, and again just get the run, and thankfully it came late on.
Is it difficult to go out there when you know you've got to attack, but at the same time keep your patience, because one serious error could cost 2, 3, maybe even 4 shots?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, not many people were in the golf tournament going into today unless Scottie came back to the field. So it was really just, I said it last night, it was jockeying for position, try to get as high up there as you can. If I got off to a really good start and we were in a conversation and I could go at it, but other than that, it was just try and get in a good position, try and finish as high as we could, and I felt I'd done that.
When you look back at your performance in all 4 majors, this season. Obviously second at the US Open, you're going to be what, top 5, top 6 maybe here again, another strong Open showing. How do you feel about the season in the majors?
Yeah, I think it's been a massive step forward. That was one of my goals this year, was to start putting up better showings, contending majors. And look, Augusta, there's a lot going on at Augusta, with the draw, all sorts. It wasn't to be. The PGA, I was in the conversation going into Saturday. Again, a lot going on equipment-wise. Managed to fix that. Then the US Open, great showing. I mean, it could have went either way. Could have been mine. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And then this week again, I'm in the conversation somewhat. So I've said it for the last wee while. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I'm doing the right things. There's little things that I can see this week that if I'd sharpened up, I'm in the conversation. But it's not to be, but another good finish.
We appreciate your time, Bob. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you.
Bob McIntyre live with Andy Stevenson. Cat.
Big roar, which I'm sure you heard further down the course as Matt Fitzpatrick rolls in a birdie putt from 25 feet. And that's got to be good. That's his first birdie on the card since the 8th. And he dropped a shot on the 16th as well. So bounces back with a birdie on 16 to take him to 10 under par. And Katrina Matthews' prediction from Rory McIlroy from where he was off the tee was...
I reckoned he would get this up and down. He was pretty lucky. It didn't kick down too far. He had quite a nice little line just on the upslope. Just kind of chipped it up, and he probably pushed it a little bit, left it a little bit further. He's left himself maybe 5 feet here for par.
So here he goes with the drone just appearing over the lip of the shelf behind him to get the reverse view of this.
In it goes for Rory McIlroy. Saves his par. Trouble on Calamity Corner off the tee. But an up and down from McIlroy keeps him at 10 under par, 7 shots off the lead.
Thank you. We are ready then for the final pair and their tee shots back down 16.
Yes, it is Hao Tong Lee with the honour after his birdie at the 15th. 230 yards today is this last of the par 3s. My goodness me, Isla is so vivid over there, the other side of the water. Just looks amazing. And here's Hao Tong Lee as he launches into his tee shot, long iron in hand for this 230-yard par 3. Lands on the front left corner of the green, skips forward, and a lengthy birdie putt to come, but safely on the dance floor.
Just keeping it away with that from that front right area on this 16th hole. It's the main danger point. Anywhere left is not too hard to get it up and down, so they'll be relatively pleased with that.
Do you think Scottie Scheffler will finish left of the pin with this tee shot?
Well, I've given up trying to predict where he's going to hit it. Basically, the pin's on the right, so I expect it to go somewhere near it.
Now here he goes. He's birdied it every visit this week. And here he goes again. And this one looks like it's bang on target for the green. Yes, it is. Oh, it's magnificent. He's going to get a full house of 2s, I reckon. He's put it to 10 feet. That is just glorious golf from Scottie Scheffler.
Well, it might be left of the flag, but it is absolutely bang on where he would have been aiming. As again, it's just perfectly executing iron shot after iron shot. It's phenomenal to watch.
Perfect distance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's always been dialed in, hasn't he, getting the right distance. And the one thing that I liked about that, I watched the tee shot really vividly, watched the way that he swings the club. It's just with relative ease, isn't it? Just floors. He doesn't care what it looks like. He doesn't care what other people think about it. He just does it. And he just executes after every shot, every time.
Graham, it's got a fantastic rhythm, hasn't it? And that is also achieved with the most unorthodox footwork of any golfer out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody talks about his footwork, but you look at some of the greats back in the day, Hogan and people like that, they used to roll the right foot in and slide it in a little bit. Maybe he does it a little bit excessively, but some of the greats did do it.
And it's just so repeatable.
Yeah, he stays pretty centred when he takes it on the way back, but what he does do differently to a lot of people is he moves laterally miles forward on it, creates a lot of compression, and as an iron player, it's a real asset to be able to have the club being so controlled to impact. It keeps the face so square for so long, and that's why he can keep hitting these iron shots and nothing really phases him.
maybe he's just starting to relax a little bit, Graham. He's smiling. He's smiling.
He's chatting.
And he is chatting with Hao Tong Lee as they go past us, just 10 yards in front of him.
I think that's great to see that they're both walking up here at 16. Obviously, Scottie's thinking about walking down 18 at some point, ready to pick up the claret jug. But having a little bit of a giggle and a bit of fun with Hao Tong, I think that's just absolutely fantastic to see those two engage like that.
Maybe Hao Tong said, I can still catch you. You think?
Well, he might well have done, because he was laughing, and so was Scottie.
Let me give you the leaderboard. Scheffler 17 under, Harris English 12 under, Chris Gotter up 12 under. We're not forgetting them. There with John Murray. Wyndham Clark 11 under. Then McIntyre, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Matt Fitzpatrick, Hao Tong Lee are all on 10 under. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, with Hao Tong, it's quite possibly what he said. He does not have a filter. He will say whatever comes into his head. So I would love to have known what it was.
I quite like that. I quite like that a lot. John, quickly.
Well, we've got 2 birdie chances in this tussle for second place. Both Harris English and Chris Gotter up 12 under. Both chances from 14, 15 feet. Shout if you need it back, but Gotter up is over this now. So Gotter up to go first in this 17th green shootout for birdie. There's a lot of prize money at stake. And on the ball rolls and doesn't drop, so Harris English has a chance to edge ahead of Gotter up. And Andrew, when I talk about that prize money, Andrew Murray, European Open champion in his time.
Yeah, well, the prize money is significant. That's not just prize money, but also Ryder Cup points and FedEx points and DP World points and all that, the rest of it. £3.1 million to the winner, 1.7 for runner-up on your own, 1.1 for third spot. So there's a serious amount of money.
How much did you get for your first prize for winning the European Open?
That's very rude, isn't it? 58 something.
58.60. So Harris English then, with the opportunity to get himself into second place on his own. And there is, as Andrew says, he's currently 10th on the Ryder Cup points list, Harris English. So he could edge himself up towards the automatic places. So there's that side of things as well. So Harris English now, from that similar sort of range, 15 feet, just a little movement from him in his dark green trousers, over the ball, rolling now towards the hole for birdie, and it's in. He has putted beautifully, and he is 13 under par. So that for Harris English, 5 under for his round today. But just like everyone else apart from Scottie Scheffler, Ian, not enough.
Not enough when you've got the world number 1 at the top of the leaderboard, and he's picked up 3 shots today despite a double bogey 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies on his card today, and he's looking at a 6. He's looking for a 4th successive one on Calamity Corner. It would be messing with golfing history to rename this famous hole, but you can't help feeling that it should be known as Scottie's Corner, especially if this goes in from around about 11 feet. A little bit of movement from left to right. Brilliant tee shot from Scheffler. And now he sends the ball forward, turns towards the hole. Oh, he's missed. He's missed. And he'll have to settle for a par. He thought that was going to move a little more from the left.
Yeah, it looked like he just thought it was going to die at the end, and it never did. It's ran a couple of feet past, so he's still got a little bit of work to do, but clearly didn't want to have the hole renamed after him.
This has been one of my favourite parts of this golf course to be commentating from, and one of the reasons has been just to see the swallows. And there's one there that is just swooping really, really low. That means there's low pressure around at the moment, and the insects are flying low, and they're just trying to get a mid-air meal as they go low over the mown area here, just adding to the scene, which includes a packed grandstand behind this green, and Hao Tong Lee right down low, lining up his ball for this par putt.
Yeah, pretty straightforward this. It's got about 3 feet straight up the hill. Just maybe a little nervy at this stage in the competition, but it's a relatively easy putt.
Town of Portrush glistening in the milky sunlight of this evening, this Sunday evening in Northern Ireland. The putt goes forward, and it is a par 3 for out on Lee, so he will remain at 10 under par, and we've got the tap in to come for Scottie Scheffler. Okay. So he goes down and gets himself ready for this. Just a couple of feet should be a mere formality for the leader to remain at 17 under par. 3 television cameras on the tower behind the green, training their lenses on the world's best player and recording the fact that he knocks that putt into the middle of the cut mark, and he remains at 17 under and 2 holes away from the claret jug.
Yeah, 4-shot lead over Harris English, who will be teeing off on 18 with John Murray and Andrew Murray watching that up ahead on the 18th green. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Gallery is currently applauding the defending Open champion, not for much longer, the American Xander Schauffele. Brilliant round of golf today. A flawless 3 under par, 68. Has him in at 10 under par for the championship. That is a very creditable title defence. Tyrrell Hatton's about to attempt a birdie putt here. Frustrating day for him so far today. 1 over for the round. It's taken him back to 7 under par for the championship. Little word of advice to Andy Stevenson, our intrepid interviewer. I wouldn't necessarily start asking Tyrrell Hatton about the excellence of Scottie Scheffler. His mood darkened after a bogey 4 at Calamity Corner. This birdie putt is on its way towards the hole and won't drop, and it's been that kind of day, and he swishes the putter angrily one more time. The tee shot leaked right on the 16th. It was indeed a calamity down those steep slopes. The club got thrown, the crowd reacted. He then couldn't get the pitch shot on the green. The club got whacked into the ground, and the crowd reacted again. But now Tyrrell Hatton has calmed down a little. He's parred the last. 1 over par for him today, a round of 72. The cap is off. He's acknowledging the applause, and he's finished at 7 under par for the championship.
We are walking down 17. The world number 1 is back on the tee. He has a 4-shot lead to take down the final 2 holes of the 153rd Open Championship here at Royal Portrush. The conclusion to come after Richard Foster and the news at 8 minutes past 6.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. The FA says it's working with the police over the online racial abuse of the England defender Jess Carter. She's posted on X and on Instagram to say she's taking a step back from social media because of the abuse she's had during the Women's Euros. Hamas officials in Gaza say nearly 70 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli gunfire as they waited for a UN aid delivery. The Israeli military says the claims have been inflated and its soldiers fired warning shots when under threat. Police have charged 3 women under the Terrorism Act after a van was driven into the fence of a defence company in Edinburgh last week. The suspects are 31, 34 and 42. They're all due to appear at the city's Sheriff Court tomorrow. The government's promising to halve the number of times that sewage is discharged into waterways in England and Wales within 5 years. The Environment Secretary, Steve Reed, says the water sector's broken and the regulator Ofwat is clearly failing. And the Royal Opera House says the display of a Palestinian flag on stage by a cast member last night was spontaneous and unauthorised. It happened during the curtain call at the conclusion of Il Trovatore.
3, 2, 1, hit it.
BBC iPlayer is your pit stop for everything Top Gear.
Oh, yeah.
For the challenges.
This bit's a bit tricky, boys. Seriously tricky.
You've cheated. Well, technically, we both cheated. I just cheated better than you.
The epic adventures.
This is the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done.
And...
Hey, it's quite a lot of water. It's up to... Oh, not again. Hammond, you idiot!
Top Gear. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
The 153rd Open 2025 with Mark Chapman
on 5 Live Sports.
Scottie Scheffler with a 4-shot lead with 2 holes to play. He's just going to be held up on the 17th tee for a little while because further down 17, Catherine Downs, it's deja vu for Rory.
Well, I mean, I don't know how he's going to dig himself out of this mess, Mark, because he's gone beyond the ropes, beyond the spectator walkway, and then, you know, they've got those blue metal railings that fence off the very deepest of the rough to stop people falling down holes and tripping over sand dunes. He's gone into the really, really thick stuff down the right-hand side off the tee. All the crowd are being moved back now, so he has a corridor of sight through to the green. Katrina has just been
in amongst the... I mean, he's had the crowds parted like the Red Sea, didn't they? And then he was swallowed up, the curtain of people shut behind him, and then he went to have a look at the ball. What's the outcome?
Well, the outcome is he's going to be very lucky, actually. He had a horrific lie. I don't even know if he could have hit it, but he's got the double blue railings where he's going to get free relief because they were in his line of sight. So he can go either side of them, and I think he's going to come over onto the side where it's been trampled down by the spectators.
He's going to get a free drop.
Yes.
Well, luck of the Irish, or the Northern Irish, for Rory McIlroy. That's an astounding twist of fate for him. The grass down there, I mean, when he went in to have a look at that ball, it must have been up to his thighs.
Yeah, if someone hadn't been there, you would never have found the ball. I mean, it was in the deepest of the deep.
Everything's hushed now, and the crowd have been moved into this horseshoe around Rory McIlroy, who is just still going through deep discussions with his caddy, Harry Diamond. Harry walked out of this bell of spectators and has come down to have a better look at where he wants it to land. So we're just waiting for the free drop to be completed, for the rules officials to be satisfied that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. John, can you tidy up on 18 for us?
Just watching Harris English, second on his own at this Open Championship, playing his final approach to the final hole, and it lands just towards the front left of the green and rolls on, and he has left himself with the hole cut to the back right, a birdie chance of round about 30 feet.
Third time this week that Rory McIlroy has been in the mess down the right-hand side. It's 94 yards to dig himself out of the rough down the right-hand side. The faces of the spectators switch from McIlroy to the green, and the ball bounces. Is it going to cling on? Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It catches the slope just shy into the left of the pin, and it funnels down into the sand, and the luck has run out.
Yeah, luck has run out. You could hear the groans there from all the crowds as you could just see it, and you could see it catching that slope, and there was only one place for it in that bunker on the left.
Still, could be worse. He's there for two. John?
And Chris Gotterup also hits his approach shot to the 18th, and this is very appropriate because there's been very little between these two players. English 13 under, Gotterup 12 under, and they are equidistant from the hole, almost equidistant from the hole here at the 18th, with a chance for a final birdie. Mark.
Real delay actually for our final pair, still on the tee, and there's a marshal in the middle of the fairway with a red flag, so obviously telling them that they can't go yet. That's because we're waiting for Fitzpatrick to play his second into the 17th, which he's done with a plum and to within about 12 feet for his birdie putt. But honestly, Kat, I was at Oasis at Heaton Park last Saturday night, and watching some of the crowd here took me back to then. They were on each other's shoulders trying to get a view of Rory.
Yes, they are, and they're using the wheelie bins as drinks tables. You know, this is where they've come now. These are the last few moments to get a glimpse of McIlroy here at Royal Portrush this year, playing the 17th in a bunker now, front edge of the green, deep bunker. I can see him from the waist up as he takes a look at this. Not much green to work with either, but we saw this, didn't we? He was in a bunker on the edge of, I think, the 9th or the 11th, one of those in that edge of the... And he hit a beauty out of there, didn't he?
He did. It just skimmed past the left edge, so let's see if he can do the same here. But looking on that second shot, I think the crowd were so excited he wasn't on a fairway they could actually get really close to him, so they were nearly in touching distance.
They were, and you know what, there was a smile on his face, wasn't there? Possibly a fairly rueful smile as he walked down and he's seen his ball had trickled into the bunker, but he was smiling nonetheless. I hope for Rory McIlroy's sake there's an element of enjoyment to these closing holes for him at Royal Portrush in 2025. Twitching the baseball cap towards the flag now, hits it out, and Paul flirts, thinks about dropping, trickles by inside 10 feet. I'd say that's probably about 6 feet from the pin.
About 6 feet. He didn't have much green to work with. You could see the speed he tried to hit that bunker shot with to try and get some spin on the ball. Good shot.
And you know what? If he makes par from here, this will be miraculous.
Yeah, I think that rueful smile was for the drop he got. Sometimes the rules work very well for you.
So Matt Fitzpatrick, yes, Mark?
I just wanted to jump in just before Fitzpatrick's putt. They're keeping this final pair on the tee, Graham Storm. Why?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make sure that the green's clear before they're allowed to drive. They're obviously getting really close, or possibility of running down. First time I've seen that this week.
Yeah. Is it unnecessary?
I think it possibly is, to be honest. I'm not sure how close they can get. Obviously not great for Scotty, obviously having to wait for as long as he is. But he is swinging the driver on the tee box, so he must think that he can get relatively close.
John Murray.
Harris English for birdie from 30 feet. Oh, he nearly holed that one as well. Honestly, his putting has been superb during the course of this week, even though he missed a 5-footer here last night. But he will walk round behind that. Harris English, Mark, I suspect, and roll it in for a 5 under par round of 66 to finish his Open Championship. And actually, this will be very likely him finishing as a runner-up in a major for the second time this year. He's ready to knock it in now. There it goes. What a good round. 67 finishes on 13, 65 finishes on 13 under par.
And if this all goes to plan, according to Justin Ray, Harris English will be the first player to finish runner-up in 2 different majors in the same season since Ernie Els in 2000 to Tiger Woods. Kat.
Here it is, this par putt for Rory McIlroy from 6 feet. It's a miraculous par for Rory McIlroy. He stays at 10 under, but Matt Fitzpatrick with a birdie here on the 17th moves into a share of 4th, quietly going about his business. Back-to-back birdies now for the Englishman.
Yeah, an excellent finish here, getting some nice Ryder Cup points for him.
Rory McIlroy just putting the cover head on his putter. It's covered in shamrocks this week here at Portrush, and he's just putting the clubs, making sure that they're all in the right space. Harry Diamond, I'm afraid the delay is going to continue just a little bit longer, Mark, up on the tee here on 17, because we've discussed this, haven't we, earlier in the week, that they've done away with the bunker rakers. So Harry Diamond is down in the bunker now, just making sure that the sand is pristine for Hao Tong Lee and for Scottie Scheffler, who are coming down. And Rory McIlroy is just standing patiently by the bag as he prepares to make his exit from the 17th green and head off to the final tee of the week.
This is ridiculous. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. Ian.
It makes no sense to me why they've done away with the bunker rakers. And yeah, Harry Diamond is taking an age over doing that job. He's doing it very carefully, very diligently. That could have been done by a bunker raker. What they used to have was people from the Greenkeepers Association who would be with every group. And at last, ironic applause for the green flag and the frustration that must be felt back on the tee there, because they have been kept waiting there for a very, very long time, probably 15 minutes on that tee. And you know, the imperative to get golf moving is just there, and it's not being followed. Here comes Hao Tong Lee with a tee shot that is going like a rocket down that slope, and it's going all the way to the green. That's why they held them, and it just takes the contours into the greenside bunker to the right. So they had to wait for the green to clear. That's abundantly clear, because a player with the driver in hand can use this downslope and get it. Now, what does Scottie Scheffler do here?
Well, he's just going to unleash driver, I think. Hao Tong gave it every ounce of energy he had with a big recoil. I assume Scott is going to do the same kind of thing, just probably a little bit more control, but try and hit it a fraction further left than Hao Tong did down the centre of the fairway and try and chase it onto the green.
This hole, 401 yards today. It's called Purgatory, funnily enough. Now, this could be coming our way, so we'll just take a evasive action. It's gone into the rough, just short of us. And
just short.
They're just coming down to have a look at exactly where the ball is. It's gone into some thick stuff, and Ollie Wilson sprinted over to have a look, and
it's fine. There's not too much drama. I think, you know, he's going to only have 100 yards to the front down the hill. He can get a club on the ball, get it into the middle of the green. There's not too much to worry about there.
But that was some tee shot from Hao Tong Lee.
It was. He's in the bunker. Scottie Scheffler in the rough with a 4-shot lead. John Murray on 18.
Yeah, just to finish off as well, Mark, Chris Gotterup also parred the 18th, so 67 for him, a 66 for playing partner Harris English. So Chris Gotterup, what a week for him. Scottish Open winner last weekend, and this weekend third in his first Open Championship, and that means currently it is an American 1-2-3 on the leaderboard.
Andrew, you wanted to come in on what was going on here at 17, didn't you?
Well, it was just that I was talking to one of the DP World officials on a referee, and he was holding them back because when I think Robert McIntyre hit it on the green, so they were all going towards the green, and if they got the shooting bounce, that was why they were keeping them on the tee, I think. But it seemed a bit unnecessary, since there was one in about 5 or 6 went on anywhere near the putting surface. It seemed a bit OTT to me. Ian?
Yeah, my only beef was with the fact that a caddy had to do the bunker raking when he could have been off, and walking with his player up to the tee, and they could share that experience together, and they could have been hitting the tee shot that much quicker.
And also, Andrew, earlier when you were talking about what you won for the European Masters, you said it was 58 something. What was that, shilling, guineas?
You're so funny, aren't you?
Rory McIlroy on 18, Cat.
Finds the fairway, and already I can hear distant chants of Rory as we walk down the 18th fairway here. Glorious tee shot from both players, Fitzpatrick and McIlroy in the centre of the fairway. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, to see a good finish here, Katrina Matthew?
It would indeed, and just looking around coming up here, there is not a spare place. There's not a spare in the stands, on every little dune. There are people peeking out, people craning over the hospitality. It is quite the scene to see.
People standing on the top of the dunes. They look like spines on the back of some long serpent that winds along this golf course, and the 3-tiered hospitality stand to the left as you walk down towards the horseshoe grandstand. Well, they're leaning on the rails there to get a better look at Rory McIlroy and Matt Fitzpatrick as they walk down here. There is green and orange and white in the crowd as far as you can see, and the Northern Irish flag is fluttering as well. People holding it over the front rail of the stands here on the grandstand on the 18th. Big yellow leaderboards reaching up into the blue sky, and the decibel level is set to rise here as McIlroy makes his march down from the last tee and along the final fairway here at Portrush, Mark.
And I'm told, Katrina, he had a massive puff of his cheeks, did Rory, as he came off the 18th tee in a sort of, well, can't really have done much more.
So I can hear. Sorry.
A puff of his cheeks from Rory McIlroy as he saw the ball land in the fairway.
Yeah, I think he's going to enjoy this walk up the 18, even though he knows he's not won. But just, I mean, the crowds are just unbelievable. They're starting to cheer already. I think he's just coming onto the fairway. He's at an iron off the tee just for safety. He's on the fairway. He can get a nice towering iron into this green and let them all cheer him up to the green.
Here he comes. He's looking to the left now, just raising his hand to the crowd down the left side where they're 20 deep, all applauding as he walks from the rough and the path that carves through the rough onto the big wide carpet of green here just before reaching their balls on the fairway. Matt Fitzpatrick, head down. He's walking along business-like, wants to have a good finish here. 11 under par Matt Fitzpatrick, 10 under par Rory McIlroy. We're on the last fairway, Mark.
And we're with the leader and his second shot, Ian Carter.
And Scheffler with his second shot from the rough lands it on the green just about pin high, and the ball then trundles on, and he's given himself a putt of around about 12 feet for birdie.
It was fine, Ollie.
Told you.
How Tom Lee's in the bunker now, Ian.
He is, and he's walked all the way up to the hole. Greenside bunker with his tee shot.
Yeah, Alton Lee is not fine. He's hit a great tee shot, really unlucky to just funnel off the front right of the green into the bunker, but he's gone on the back side of the bunker onto the downslope, slightly submerged. So he's got about a 6 to 8 foot lip to get it over and get it to stop really quick, and it runs away behind the hole. So this is going to be a real challenge to get it close.
Well, the applause is very warm here at 17 for Scottie Scheffler as we go to cap.
And the applause, I'm sure, will erupt for Rory McIlroy if he can put this one close on the 18th. The ball flying through the jigsaw puzzle sky, heading towards the back edge of the green. Is it going to cling on to the putting surface? It's just working away off the green and down into a little hollow through the back. Perhaps a little bit of adrenaline from Rory McIlroy as he hits into the final hole here at Royal Portrush. Final hole of his Open Championship. Matt Fitzpatrick to hit his second shot in a few moments' time, Mark.
Ian. Great shot from Hao Tong Lee from the bunker. The ball emerging just low over the lip and trundling on, a sort of chunk and runny-ish kind of one, but it ran up to the hole side. That was class.
That was absolutely brilliant shot. Yeah, just carried it over the lip and fed it all the way down to the hole to pretty much a kick-in. It was a brilliant touch.
And that'll be a kick-in birdie for Hao Tong Lee, which will take him to 11 under par. Harris English is at 13 under par, the clubhouse leader. Scottie Scheffler at 17 under par. And he'll have his birdie attempt very, very shortly, Kat.
Yeah, I think you might have heard me just trying to indicate back to the producers that Rory McIlroy is on the move. It's the decibel level here at 18 that indicates that McIlroy is walking into this amphitheatre that's created by the enormous grandstands here, and he's taking a moment now to look to left, to look to right, and now the eyes focus back on the ball in front. The grandstands now just beginning to sense that he is within their grasp, and the hat comes from the head, a wave of the right hat from Rory McIlroy to the crowd, that newly closely cropped haircut of his, and there's a smile on his face, Ian.
Scheffler for birdie at 17, misses, it'll be a par. Back to you, Kat.
Raises his fingers to left to right, Rory McIlroy in salute. The crowd are on their feet. Every single one of these tens of thousands of people in the stands have stood. They've risen to salute the Masters champion. And what a celebration it has been of Rory McIlroy's feats in golf this week here at Portrush. It's not been the finish that he wanted. It's not been the duel with Scottie Scheffler that every person here in the stands was hoping for. But he's back. He has a green jacket and he will forever be their hero. And he reaches his ball through the back of the green here on the 18th. And Matt Fitzpatrick is also walking up towards his ball. I think his disappeared towards the right-hand edge of the green here, Katrina Matthew. He's at 11 under par. Matt Fitzpatrick is on for his best finish ever at an Open Championship, and some very handy Ryder Cup points for the man from Sheffield. And both players now centre of the green on 18, going about their business for the final time this week.
Yeah, and that was quite the ovation they got. I've never seen the crowd. There was just a complete standing ovation. Everyone in the whole horseshoe of the stand were standing on their feet. As you said, Rory waving his cap to them. It was quite a special moment.
It's quite a severe haircut he's had, isn't it?
It certainly was.
There's quite a few who've had haircuts here at Portrush.
I think they have a barber in their locker room.
Yeah, well, he got very generous with the clippers with Rory McIlroy as Matt Fitzpatrick clips his ball from behind the green here on the 18th, rolls it up to within 3 feet of the flag. Lovely stuff from Fitzpatrick. He's looking to close out with a round of 69 here and to finish in a share of 4th place with Wyndham Clark at 11 under par. He'll mark his ball, and then it's over to Rory McIlroy, whose ball has just settled down in the little hollow to the left of the green here, Katrina.
Yeah, and do you know what? I wouldn't bet against a chip in here. That would be...
Don't. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Well, here we go. He's ready. Wouldn't that be a wonderful way to finish his 153rd Open for Rory McIlroy? Ball up, jumping, running, skipping, now rolling across the green. Just short, but only by a few feet.
Kind of the story of his day. He's just slid them past the edges or just come up a little bit short. But a fantastic week for Rory, coming back, to his home country and put up a fantastic, trying to win this Open.
So he will mark his ball, and then Matt Fitzpatrick will try and tidy up here. Currently 22nd on the list, on the standings for the selection for the European Ryder Cup team. This would propel him up, well up the standings towards those automatic selection spots. And he said, though, that that's not really in the back of his mind at all. All he cares about is his own performance at the moment. He'd dearly love to be on the team, heading to Bethpage and to New York in September. But all of his focus now will be on this last few feet on the 72nd hole at the Open Championship. Wiping the blade of his putter on the palm of his hand. Once, twice, twitching the putter face. And now the ball in the hole for Matt Fitzpatrick. It's a 69 to finish for Matt Fitzpatrick. He'll end on 11 under par and a share of 4th spot. His best finish at the Open. Ian.
Scottie Scheffler is 1 hole away from the claret jug. It's been a command performance from the world's best golfer, and he's on the 18th tee now, ready to take on this closing hole. 480-yard par 4 dogleg. He's just gone with the driving iron and he's landed it smack in the middle of the fairway, and he will take all the drama out of this, but instead will have a victory procession that will reflect just his golfing prowess, which is unrivaled at the moment. He has split the fairway with his tee shot, and the sounds with you, Kat, are just amazing as Rory McIlroy exits.
Yeah, one last wave of the hand to the crowd, Ian, and their roar is the last love letter of the week. From Portrush to Rory McIlroy as he makes his exit stage right here, shaking hands with all the marshals, all the officials who've guided him round these fairways, and off he goes. A 69, he'll finish at 10 under par, 7 shots behind the leader Scottie Scheffler at the moment, but in a tie for 5th at the Open. And he may not be leaving with the claret jug, but after the heartbreak of 2019, missing the cut here, 6 years later, returning as Masters champion, Grand Slam winner, he's had a week-long celebration with his people, back where it all began, and I'm sure it will feel very special indeed to him.
And now the stage is set. Ian Carter walking down 18 and maybe 50 yards ahead of him as well. The final pair are coming down. Let's just tidy up where Hao Tong Lee went with his drive.
He missed the fairway just down to the right, and just to confirm, he made his birdie after that fantastic bunker shot after his drive on the 400 yards. 17th, went into the greenside bunker, had a little tap in. So he's at 11 under par. He could get to 12 under and move alongside Chris Gotter up into a share of 3rd place. I guess that's what he will be trying to do. But Scottie Scheffler, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he acknowledges what will be rapturous applause for what has been a command performance, or will he just stay in that bubble that he's been in for the entire championship so far.
And have you seen the stat that has been on US television this afternoon, which is Tiger Woods won his first major in '97, the Masters, and his 4th in was the 2000 Open, and the difference in days between the 1st and the 4th was 1,197. Scheffler won his first major, the 22 Masters, and if he wins this, his 4th major, the 25 Open, and there are exactly the same 1,197 days between the two.
It's incredible. We have to be drawn towards making parallels with Tiger Woods. The one thing that we can't draw the parallels on is the longevity of Tiger Woods and the span of years between his 15 majors. But otherwise, the way that he is dominating the game is very much akin to the way that Tiger Woods did at the height of his powers in that period between 1997 and 2008. Well, the players have arrived at their balls. It's going to be Hao Tong Lee to play his first here from the rough down the right-hand side. He just points to himself and says, "Yeah, it's me to go, isn't it?" And he'll draw the club from his bag.
Yeah, he's got a long way back. The wind's just hurting a bit more than it has the rest of the week. He's going to have about 230 yards out that first cut to the back right flag. It's not an easy angle, not an easy shot at all, as the left-hand side of the green all slopes away. So if he gets this on the putting surface, he'll be delighted.
And he's just shouting to a group of marshals who are in his line of flight, and he just wants them to duck down. There are 4 police officers there as well, and now he's ready to go with his second shot into the final hole here at Royal Portrush. Over it now, he'll take that long backswing of his and then launch into the ball. There it goes, very smoothly through the ball, and he wants that ball to get up to the green, and it does get up to the green, and it releases, and it's a really, really good shot from Hao Tong Lee. He's got a chance of a birdie finish here.
That was a fantastic shot. It's taken dead aim. They'll be absolutely delighted. There's no backing down from him.
And so Scottie Scheffler, whose round began with a birdie to take him to 15 under par, having been 14 under and 4 clear at the 54-hole stage, he's now at 17 under par, and he's 4 shots clear of the closest rival, Harris English. Second shot on its way, high trajectory, just landing to the left of the flag. Perfect distance control, as it has been on pretty much all 4 days of this Open Championship. An Open Championship that he began with a round of 68, and when he went into the recorder's hut, he put his head on his hands and asked for a moment, because he'd been out there for 6 hours and he felt absolutely exhausted, and he said to the recorders, just give me a minute, because I'm going to have to go back to work. And that involved obviously talking to the media, but just sorting out a few kinks in his game, and he certainly did that with the 64 that put him into such a threatening position at the halfway stage. He added a 67 yesterday with some fantastic front-running golf, bogey-free, just telling everybody how much class he has as a golfer. And now he emerges as the champion-elect. It's only moments away, and he has taken the cap from his head, and he's wearily running his fingers through his dark hair, this bearded figure, 6 feet 3 inches tall, head down, still marching, but at least he's showing his full face to these spectators who begin to rise and applaud a performance that deserves a standing ovation. And he waves his cap, somewhat bashfully, but he does wave his cap, and he looks to his right, and they're all standing beneath that giant yellow scoreboard that proclaims him 4 shots clear at 17 under par and just 1 green to go. And he's walking up to that putting surface, and everyone is standing on all sides to acknowledge what has been one of the great Open performances. We saw a great Open performance in 2019 from Shane Lowry. We've seen another from the very best player in the world.
It's been absolutely magnificent. That all the holes that we've watched of him, he's been just an absolute masterclass. And there he laid up a little shorter, 220 yards, not an easy shot, straight into the heart of the green. It's just been superb to watch.
Absolutely first rate from the #1 player in the world, but 2 really, really good approach shots.
Yeah, Hao Tong Lee's from that right-hand rough was fantastic. He took dead aim, certainly not trying to just back out and get out of the way. He really was trying to push and get an extra birdie and climb up that leaderboard. And I've been really pleased with him, pleased for him. You know, the response he's had after the double earlier on, he's played really solid, and down this stretch, picked up a few birdies. He looked very comfortable, to be fair.
And Scheffler actually smiled. He actually smiled when he went on to the green. We've seen no trace of emotion really throughout this championship from this magnificent golfer, but he afforded himself a little smile. He had a smile on the 16th, didn't he, with Hao Tong Lee? We think Hao Tong said, oh, I can still catch you, and that brought a bit of a smile and a bit of a laugh. But otherwise it's been just that poker face, that grim-faced determination, just staying in his bubble throughout this championship. Now here is Hao Tong Lee, and he is ready to putt for a birdie to finish his Open at 12 under par. Sends it on its way up towards the hole. Go on, disappear. No, it didn't. It didn't. Great effort though, and it'll be a great experience for one of the DP World Tour's better known players.
I think he'll be delighted. It's a really good display from where he's been. He's going to go ahead and tap out and get out of the way for Scottie Scheffler, but what a week for him, especially coming back from losing his card a few years ago. For the turbulation he's been through, it's been a great performance.
And behind us, the spectators have been allowed across the fairway, but they've scores of marshals, hundreds of marshals, holding them back with the rope as Hao Tong Lee finishes his Open Championship at 11 under par. So a 1 under par, 70 to finish. He shakes hands with Ted Scott, Scottie Scheffler's caddy, and also his own caddy, J.D. De Beer, the South African. Great experience for Hao Tong Lee. He's played with a smile on his face. He's played with personality. He's taken on the shots. He's had some really, really good ones. He's had some not so good ones. And he's been a big part of this Open Championship. But now the moment belongs to the 29-year-old who was born in New Jersey and moved to Dallas with his family, who borrowed $50,000 to get him into the swanky country club so that he could learn this game and be as good as he could be. And he has been good. He's been very good. He's become the world's best. This is Scottie Scheffler to try and finish the Open with a birdie. It's on its way. Oh, it just misses to the right. And he just walks up. But the deal is done. And Scottie Scheffler will tap this in and complete his victory at the Open Championship. And he smiles and he hugs his caddy Ted Scott in recognition of his 4th major title. Scottie Scheffler, a giant on the Causeway Coast, the world #1, dominates the Open and puts his hands on the claret jug and moves 3/4 of the way to a career Grand Slam. It's all been very, very understated until now, because both hands are aloft, the cap is tossed into the sky, the arms are out wide, and his wife Meredith comes forward with their son Bennett, and just as was the case at Quail Hollow, they embrace in a family hug of utter triumph. And this is the moment that he lives for. We don't know how long it'll last for him after those extraordinary quotes at the start of this week. But right now, Scottie Scheffler's in tears of delight, joy and satisfaction because he is the Open champion at Royal Portrush.
There's like a champagne cork popping there. His bubbles burst. He's letting the emotion out. What a fantastic scene this is. What every professional golfer wants to experience, that winning a major with your family right there. You can see how happy he is. It's amazing. Fantastic to watch.
And that is why he does it. As he said in that extraordinary press conference, it's hard not to have a lump in the throat for a man criticised at times for a lack of emotion over the course of this week, and his wife has scurried across the green to hug his caddy Ted Scott, but he holds on to Scottie Scheffler, to his son, puts the cap back on his head, and the galleries are continuing to stand and applaud him. And everything that Scottie Scheffler does in this game of golf, as he told us on Tuesday, it's for his wife, who's in one arm, and his baby son, who is in another. It's emotional.
It is. And I think, you know, when you've seen such a poker face all the way around this Open Championship and no emotion, when it does come pouring out like that, and that was a real celebration there.
There was a real roar,
you know,
wasn't
it
there?
just showed how much was inside him, that he has kept subdued to just remain in the moment, to be able to do his job as well as he has done.
But you know,
that was a real moment.
It was a real moment, and in fact, the emotion stayed. Look, the putt went in. He hugged Ted Scott, his caddy. The cap came off to acknowledge the crowd, Graham. But it wasn't until he turned round and saw his wife and son that the roar came and the arms came came out, and he ran down the little slope towards the family to make sure he could get his hugs.
What a magical moment for them all there. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm glad I've got sunglasses on, because there was a slight tear to the eye there. I mean, I don't know the guy whatsoever, but to see that emotion come out, and like he said, he does it for his family. It's not about the money, it's not about anything else, it's all about the family, and just a magical experience.
Although probably now, as they go through the tunnel and go to the Marcus Hut, if we're led to believe what he said the other night, they're already discussing what they're going to have for dinner.
Yeah, and I just wonder, you know, it could be a bit raucous next door tonight for you.
Well,
and me?
Yeah, I mean, at the end
I doubt it, though.
No, I doubt it as well. And in fact, Alistair Bruce Ball, you're still with us. That sight of the Schefflers in the garden and playing together has just sort of been replicated on the 18th green of the 153rd Open Championship.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. I've actually just come up the steps off the back of the 18th green. I can see Scottie Scheffler holding little Bennett, Meredith alongside. They're practically bouncing along this bridge. They're now going down the steps the other side, the back of the 18th grandstand, to go and complete the formalities. There are thousands of people gathered down behind the grandstand as well to welcome them. A cameraman backpedaling down a grassy, really steep, slippy slope has got to be very careful. He's getting in very, very close there to get these pictures. And the Schefflers' faces wreathed in smiles. And it's bizarre, Mark. I pulled open the curtains of our place this morning, and he was the first person I saw. And then we're standing sort of 20 feet from him on the 18th green at Royal Portrush, achieved something like that. And yeah, as you guys just described, you know, it almost feels at times like that, when you're that close, you're almost invading a sort of private family moment. But I think Scottie Scheffler is so used to that, to living in the spotlight, and I guess having to share, you know, career highlights like that with everyone, but still you felt there was a little bubble around the whole family there. And Scottie Scheffler now, I can just see the caddy Ted Scott rolling the bib up, putting it in the bag, Scottie Scheffler's golf bag. And the man himself is in the recorder's hut right now, signing the card, and it won't be too long before he comes back this way, back onto the 18th green to receive the glittering prize. And shortly, Mark, in front of you on the 18th green, I've just seen a couple of chaps bringing the famous polished wooden table out for the presentation ceremony. Not that easy to carry up all the steps and down the other side. They're doing a good job.
I'm just watching them now. They've just come through the mouth of the tunnel. They've got it down the steps, and they're now bringing it out onto the green. And on one part of the green, the TV cameras are set up, and on another part of the green, the photographers are ready to take that shot of Scottie Scheffler holding the claret jug. All the Five Live team are together at the moment. Katrina, Matthew, let me read you all the Scottie Scheffler stats from what we have witnessed over the last 4 days. The first player in 112 years to win his first 4 majors by at least 3 shots. The 4th player to win the Open, the Masters and the PGA before the age of 30, after Player, Nicklaus and Woods. The 10th consecutive tour win when holding the outright 54-hole lead, including 3 majors. First Open winner to get a double bogey in the 4th round since Podrick Harrington in 2007. Only the 7th Open winner to record 4 rounds in the 60s. Every single one special, special, special.
What can you say to that? But wow, I mean, I think you can nearly start talking about him in the same breath as Tiger Woods. I mean, when Tiger Woods was setting all these records, you thought no one was going to come along and even threaten them. And I know obviously there's a long way to go, and you know, Tiger was quite you know, set some huge records, but I think you've got to start talking about Scottie in that same vein. He's becoming as dominant, I think, as Tiger Woods. And I think the players, even listening to some of the interviews afterwards, they were nearly sounding nearly quite defeated, as if we just didn't have a chance to catch him.
They were actually, Ollie, weren't they? And a final one from you, because I think you're going to go off and do the TV bit now, but you followed him all the way round. Every player, as we said, that we listened to in the interviews had a different reason for why he's untouchable.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, because usually those players would not admit that. It's sort of a level and a line, and he's just blown over that line, and now it's almost just resilience. They're just kind of, yep, he is that good, and we are miles behind, and we've got to figure out a way to catch him. So it's quite interesting. It's the first time that you really get to see that from the other players.
Are you surprised by that, Andrew? I know you were emotional at the end there, but are you surprised by the sort of Well, whether it's realistic or defeatist, I don't know.
I don't think it's defeatist. I think it's just being realistic and being in the, they're in his shadow. There's no question they're in his shadow. That's just an extreme exhibition of ball control from all sorts, in all sorts of weathers for the first 2 days, especially from all sorts of lies. He is just unquestionably the best. And at the end there, I was really emotional. I'm afraid. Sorry.
No, you're completely allowed to be emotional. We were all emotional because he backed up everything. Well, he didn't back it up, but everything he said on Tuesday, we saw come to fruition in front of our eyes on Sunday evening.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I was blubbering away at Rory and the way he applauded the crowds and the ovation, and then when he threw his cap off and saw Bennett and Meredith, that was for me. That was gone. It's just absolutely sensational. I've run out of superlatives.
Let me just give you the final leaderboard, certainly of the players who are up there on the big yellow leaderboard that are either side of the 18th green, which has already got the message up there. Well played, Scottie. See you at Birkdale next year, 2026. Scheffler, 17 under for the 153rd Open Championship. Then Harris English and Chris Gotterup, 13 under and 12 under respectively. Then come Matt Fitzpatrick, Haitong Lee and Wyndham Clark, all on 11 under. The defending champion Xander Schauffele ended up on 10 under eventually. Bob McIntyre 10 under and Rory McIlroy 10 under as well. And you've all at times followed different players over the course of these 4 days. And John Murray, you know, you followed English and Gotter up there, and even though they're within 4 and 5, like the rest of that leaderboard, I think it would be very hard for any of them to think we let that slip, or what if, because of the world #1's dominance.
Absolutely. The two players I watched today, Harris English and Chris Gotterup, I mean, Andrew, they played some very, very good golf. And as Ian said during the course of the afternoon, I think Ali said it as well, what a day it would have been had someone smuggled Scottie Scheffler off the course round about the turn. I mean, that would have been a real contest.
It would have been a heck of a statement from the new R&A chief exec in his first year to have taken Scheffler off and then let's mix it up a bit.
You did ask him yesterday if he was looking for exciting new idea. So, but no, I mean, I've been really impressed with Harris English. I've seen a lot of him this week. He is, you know, runner-up twice in majors this year. He's going to be a serious Ryder Cup player if he reproduces this form when it comes to September.
Well, he played in the winning team by a record-winning margin at Whistling Straits for the United States, so he won't be cowed by the atmosphere.
Absolutely not. And we were saying, weren't we? What a foursomes player he'd be.
No, fantastic. I mean, hardly missed a shot all the way around. Putted beautifully as well. And he apparently had a really nice conversation with Michael Hoey. I think it was yesterday, who was one of his referees. And he came across to him apparently yesterday on the second hole and said, I recognise your face. Were you a player? He said, yeah, what's your surname? He said, Hoey. He said, I watched you in the Walker Cup at Sea Island, Georgia when I was a 12-year-old. He said, you were the best player on that team and you really inspired me.
And you said they spoke all the way around?
They spoke all the way around about the Walker Cup. Amazing.
So as I said about Harris English the other day, and indeed today, you know, you get the feeling he doesn't give much away. You know, there's not much going on in terms of emotion, body language, whatever it is, but that goes to show a little bit like Scottie Scheffler. Maybe we shouldn't be judging on appearances.
No, McIlroy and Fitzpatrick, you followed them both. Fitzpatrick finishes on 11 under, McIlroy on 10 under.
Struggling to get things going, struggling to get it close, and you know, his birdie chances were from long range. A lot of them didn't putt very well, and I think he'll be disappointed with how he performed on this final day. And you said that there won't be many players on that leaderboard who were thinking, what if I could have, how about if it had been different? I think Rory McIlroy might feel slightly differently. There was that moment on the 10th where Scottie Scheffler had double bogeyed. If McIlroy had managed to birdie that 10th hole, he would have got that to within 3-4 of the lead, and who knows what could have unfolded down the back nine here. But as it was, he double bogeyed, and that was the end of that.
Let's hear from him actually as we wait for this ceremony to get underway. The table is there, the two microphones are there, there is nobody else there at the moment. So whilst we wait for that to get underway, the roar from McIlroy at the end on 18, and as he waved goodbye to everybody here, was absolutely immense. Here are his thoughts.
Rory, so much attention on you this week, so much noise. Can you even begin to sum up your reflections on the week?
Yeah, I've had a great week. It had everything. I guess it was everything that I wanted it to be, apart from a claret jug at the end. Felt like I played well, just not well enough to hang with Scottie. But none of us were able to do that this week. So hats off to obviously a great champion. And yeah, I think just the reception I've got over the 4 days, that walk up the last, that's something I'll remember for a long time.
I think I saw quotes from you earlier in the week where you said what happened at Augusta actually helped you this week. There was a different feeling for you. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, I think if I hadn't got it done at Augusta, I might have felt a little more angst coming into this week. That I maybe hadn't won the major, hadn't won the slam. But the fact that I was able to do that, I wanted to come here and I guess feel like it was some sort of celebration in a way. And
that was Rory McIlroy. Just going to cut that short. We might hear the end of that because I'm sure that Andy will have asked him about Scottie Scheffler, and we'll hear that a little bit later on. But we want to cut that short because the R&A committee have come out. Mark Dolben, the chief exec. The claret jug is on the table in the middle of the green, and Scottie Scheffler is just taking a swig of something from a can. I can't see what that can is, and he's taking his cap off water, I'm told. I should have guessed that really. And he's walking now onto the green through a little tunnel of guard of honour there, Ian.
Thank you for staying on.
Yes, the greenkeepers provide that guard of honour, and
thank you for
that
all
precious
the support you've given to all the players
silver trophy, the claret jug, sitting there proudly on that table as the presentation ceremony starts to get underway.
There can only be one champion golfer of the year, but all of the golfers have thrilled us with their incredible play over the last 4 days. I'd like to thank Graham Beat and his greenkeeping team for producing such a wonderful golf course. And I'd also like to thank Ian Kerr, chairman of the club's championship committee, and all the members of Royal Portrush, indeed the whole town of Portrush, for all the work they've done and making us feel so welcome. This championship could not take place without the efforts of a lot of people, including over 6,000 volunteers. I'd like to thank them for all they've done. I'd also like to thank the continuing commitment of our loyal patrons, suppliers, and other partners. Thank you for what you do. My final thanks are to you, the fans, for 2 reasons in particular. For what you bring to the Open Championship. You represent the good values in golf. You commiserate with the bad shots, and you cheer the good shots, irrespective of the players. You are the best fans in the world, and you are part of what makes this championship special. And secondly, I'd like to thank you just for being here. All of the monies from the Open go back into golf. So on behalf of the tens of thousands of people who've benefited from that investment, thank you for your support. I'll now hand over to Mark Dolben, the Chief Executive of the R&A, who'll announce the results, and to Nigel Pollock, the Captain of Royal Portrush, who'll present the claret jug. Thank you.
And so for the first time, Mark Darbin, as the new boss of the R&A, gets to announce the
With a
result.
score of 267, the winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year, Scottie Scheffler.
Here he comes now. Scottie Scheffler shakes hands with Nigel Pollock, the captain of Royal Portrush. And the claret jug is handed to the best golfer in the world. The best golfer in the world is the champion golfer of the year. And for the first time since Tiger Woods, the official world #1, has won the Open.
Well, I don't really know exactly what to say, but thank you so much to the fans this week for all the support. I know I wasn't the fan favorite today, but I did hear a lot of USA and Dallas, Texas chants, and so I appreciate you guys coming out to support. Yeah, but overall, it's been a great week. The fan support all week was tremendous. You know, it was a ton of fun to get to play here. I got to play with Shane the first couple of days, and you guys coming out and supporting Shane the way you did was really special. And it was a really fun week to be able to play in front of such a great crowd. To my family, started with my wife and my son. You know, thank you so much for the support. You know, I couldn't do any of this without you, and I just love you very much. And yeah, I can't wait to get home and celebrate. It's to my parents and the rest of the team, to Teddy, Blake, Phil, you know, everybody at home. You know, I can't thank you guys enough. I feel like I've got the best support team that I could possibly have. Everybody does such a good job of working together. Everybody is so humble, and they just do a really good job. And so thank you all very much, and especially you guys at home. To the agronomy team this week, I mean, this place was in tremendous condition. The golf course played amazing. Was extremely healthy turf. It was really a tremendous week, so shout out to the grounds crew. And also thank you so much to the R&A for putting on such a great event. You guys do such a good job of supporting the players so well, especially as an American player coming over to a foreign country. The R&A just does such a good job taking care of us all the way from the locker room to the food and beverage to all the staff in the clubhouse. I mean, you guys just do a great job. Transportation as well. Just making this week really easy and really special for all of us. So thank you guys so much for such a great week. Sorry, I had to check my notes. And I guess finally, thank you so much to Royal Portrush and the town here. What an amazing week. I wish I could have seen more of the town, but it was a bit of a business week, just home and the golf course. But overall, was a ton of fun. And is that booze or is that good cheers? Couldn't tell. No, it was a tremendous week, and I look forward to hopefully bringing the Open back here. And you know, I look forward to seeing some of you at Birkdale next year. So all the best. Thank you, guys.
A very Scottie Scheffler's kind of speech, I would say. Humble, but just brimful of pride at what he's achieved. And, well, he might be.
That ends the presentation ceremony. We look forward to seeing you at Royal Birkdale next year for the 154th Open.
And as you said, typical Scottie Scheffler way, he actually went and shook everybody's hand as part of the ceremony and left the claret jug behind.
Yeah. And then he remembered, and he went back, and he got it. That will be a treasured possession. But, you know, in time-honoured fashion, Open champions get asked what they've done that's very exciting. Oh, and look at this. Oh!
So at the moment,
little Bennett decided that he would start to do some proper walking, and then fell flat on his face as he tried to come up the slope to the 18th green. And Mike Woodcock, the media manager of the R&A, he picked him up, and now Bennett is standing, and this is your photo. This is your photo, folks. Bennett is standing next to the claret jug, which almost reaches his shoulder. But a lovely, lovely scene. And he is, as he said to us on Tuesday, family is everything to him, and I believe every word of that, and he's showing us now, and he's just gesturing to Meredith, his wife, as he walks off with Bennett in his arms, in his left arm, and the claret jug in his right hand, and he suggests that Mum should perhaps just hold that blonde-haired toddler. Just for the moment, anyway.
Bennett's not having any of that.
No, he wants Daddy.
Bennett is like, I am staying with my dad here. He's got that big silver shiny thing. I'm not going anywhere. And if I am going to be taken from my dad, I might be about to have a big old tantrum. But he hasn't. Actually, he's staying calm, and Meredith takes him away, and Scottie Scheffler goes off with that claret jug to go and have some photos. In fact, Bennett tried to actually get to Scottie Scheffler as soon as he came out for the presentation, and a grandparent had to scoop him up at that point. And now he holds that claret jug, and he is, isn't he, Graham Storm? He is such an unassuming individual. Go over to John Murray's mic.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I thought his speech was absolutely fantastic, just from the heart, real, just taken aback listening to him, and like you say, it's all about his family, and it was just great to see the little fella trying to climb up the bank and get to his dad and get to see the claret jug, and be interested to see what's being drunk out of that claret jug at the end of the evening.
Maybe it will be in the garden next door to us. Maybe we'll see what's being drunk out of it if we look out of the bedroom window. Look, Jordan Spieth, Katrina, earlier spoke about Scottie Scheffler. So many of the players have been asked about it. Spieth said he doesn't care to be a superstar. He's not transcending the game like Tiger did. He's not bringing it to a non-golf audience necessarily. He doesn't want to do the stuff that a lot of us go and do, corporates, stuff like that. He just wants to get away from the game and separate the two, because I know that at one time he felt it was too much, that he was taking it with him. And whenever he made that switch, I don't know what it was, but he has hobbies, he's with his family, they're always doing stuff. Though I think it's more the difference in personality from any other superstar that you've seen in the modern era, and maybe in any sport. I don't think anybody is like him.
Yeah, I mean, he might not want to chase those corporate dollars and do all the corporate days that a lot of the other pros do, but I think if he keeps playing like this, he will start moving the needle, and non-golf fans will, you know, see him. And I think when you get anyone who's so dominant in any sport, you saw that with, say, a Federer or Nadal, a Djokovic, they do start moving the needle if they keep winning.
But Andrew Murray, he doesn't want to be, does he? On James Gregg's microphone. I just keep having to say this, so I don't know which fader to put up in the studio. He doesn't want to be consumed by the sport. He realises that he does what he does here, and then he needs a break from it. He can't be involved in it, studying it non-stop.
Yeah, I think it's really refreshing when you hear him. You know, he gets away from it and switches off and does normal stuff with the kids at will. So it's I think it's terrific, and I think we've seen a completely different side of Scottie Scheffler in the last 25 minutes. It's endeared him to many more millions of people. I don't think there's any question about that.
But we see it in so many sports, James Gregg, and we all cover lots of different sports, that, you know, people can be consumed by this sport they play in, that they work in. And footballers are often criticised for having another interest. And I always think, why would you only want one interest?
Well, it's a bit like the cricketers at the moment, isn't it? We know they're being told, you know, with the golf. And they absolutely love playing golf. I think about 5 of the current England team have simulators in their house. And what's wrong with that? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And some of them, you know, you haven't got to know these people yet. You know, people will talk about the Netflix documentary where Scheffler was followed closely, and I thought that was, I'll be honest, I might sound like a Johnny a bit of an after-timer here, but I've been a big fan of Scottie Scheffler since I saw Full Swing, because it did just simply, it showed you how simplified, you know, he was doing his Bible study in the kitchen with his wife Meredith, and then going and practicing, and that was it. And I thought, actually, if that's all there is to this guy, and he's not choosing his clothing line, and he's not flying around playing cards on a private jet and all that, well, good luck to him, you know. And it's worked so well for him, why would he change it? And just like Drew said, I mean, you know, where he's there, he's just actually just acknowledging the crowd because he's been doing a TV interview here. Again, must have said something pretty nice. I think he does endear himself with this kind of affable, easygoing nature, and he's everything you want in a champion. He's not got anything bad, no black marks against his name or anything. He's just wonderful.
He's just doing an interview at the moment with Mike Sirica of NBC. That camera's pointing in our direction. We're all sat on the other side of the 18th fairway having a chat. They're glad we're having a picnic, which could well be being broadcast to the whole of America at the moment. Kat.
Claret jug, I think that says everything you need to know about Scottie Scheffler. Some champions, they're handed the jug and they spend ages poring over the engravings, all the names, the history, the honour of holding it, and they carry it round cradled in their arms like a baby. He's got it just slung in his left hand and it's almost tucked behind his back. He was carrying Bennett around like the trophy, wasn't he, on the 18th green? It's like it's just another piece of silverware to him, which in some ways is a bit of a shame. I hope he does celebrate like he said he would. You know, he said in that press conference before the Open, his celebrations last 2 minutes and then it's forgotten. It does look the way that he's holding that claret jug as though it's just forgotten already. I hope that he does take a moment to look at the trophy, and he's being made to now, isn't he, on American TV. Have a look at some of the names on there at the moment. But yeah, I think that just says everything about him and his attitude to winning. That the trophy's just another trophy, and Bennett was the big draw for him.
John Murray, we were having a drink in the garden last night. I'm glad that drink and conversation didn't affect the Scheffler household next door, really.
Well, I've just found out where Scottie Scheffler gets it from, because I just went and had a little wander over there to ask his dad if he would mind doing an interview with us. So I said, congratulations, would you mind having a word with the BBC? And he said, thank you very much for asking. He said, but I think I'm just going to enjoy the moment here, and I'm going to leave it to Scottie to do the talking. But I appreciate your sentiment. It's the nicest turn down I've ever had.
But that will be where he gets it from.
Of course it will.
Yeah. They are very, very unassuming, and that's his dad, isn't it? In the pink T-shirt, though, with
the pink shirt, yeah.
In the pink shirt, who at the moment I think just kind of looks as though he's just enjoying his own thoughts. He's talking to, I can't actually see because there's a little bump in front of me, so I can't see. There's somebody sitting down who he's talking to, maybe his wife or maybe Meredith. Can you see from your vantage point, Kat?
Katrina noticed as well, because Scottie Scheffler in that winning moment threw his cap into the air in celebration, but his dad went and picked it up, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't want to lose that cap. He rushed onto that green and picked it up and gave it back to Scottie.
Don't leave your rubbish around, Scottie.
Is he going to dominate?
I think he could well do. I mean, you saw that celebration. I know everyone says how easygoing and humble he is, but that celebration at the end, you know, when he turned round and did that roar, I mean, I don't think there's anyone. He's as competitive as the next player. He wants to win, and he's wanting to win these tournaments. And I think he's gonna love this victory and relish it tonight when they're sitting in their house looking at that trophy.
Jay Scruggs just made the very obvious point to me that he already is dominating. I mean, he has won the last two. That's a fair point.
If you include the Hero World Challenge, which is a sort of a 20-man field thing at the end of the year that they all go and basically take a massive paycheck in the Bahamas and Tiger runs it, and then the Olympic gold medal. He won 9 times last year.
3 times this year, 4 times now.
Well, 4 times now. So in the last, 18 months, really. What's that, 16?
And 2 Masters
Incredible.
Wins in the space of 3 years, and now 2 major championships in the space of a year.
To Tiger territory.
And the stats and the numbers just keep coming as people post them and discover them and work them out, Andrew Murray. So at the majors, and I keep looking to my right as well because Ian Carter's waiting to talk to our new champion, but since the start of 2022 at the majors, 16 starts, 4 wins, 12 top 10s, 1 miscut, 62 rounds played, 29 rounds in the 60s, gained strokes on the field in 53 of 62 rounds, 182 strokes in total better than the field, just shy of $21 million earned. Jay's probably right. He is dominating.
He's been dominating for the last
I think he is.
16 months.
Yeah, I might as well end on a stupid question. But they are. I mean, they are off the scale.
Absolutely off the scale in every category. I mean, in driving, in distance control, distance from the pin, in putting, in pitching. He's the best in pretty well every discipline of the game. And the other thing he's absolutely, definitely the best is his head.
because he's mentally better and tougher than everybody else.
It is strange though, isn't it? Just to go back, and I mentioned this earlier on, to go back to the start of the season after he injured himself with the wine glass whilst trying to cut ravioli on Christmas Day, that he was struggling a little bit. I mean, there were at times at the Masters at Augusta where I did feel he was cutting a slightly lost figure.
He did get off to a little bit of a slow start.
Oh, let's go to Ian. He's going to get him. I can just see him about to shake hands with Scottie Scheffler. Here he is.
Scottie, it's been my privilege to walk the last 36 holes with you. Just the most amazing front-running golf with an Open Championship on the line. How are you feeling right now?
A little tired, but feeling pretty good. You know, this was it was a long week, but it was a successful one, and I did a good job this week of handling myself mentally, and we did a lot of things right this week, and fortunate to be sitting here with the trophy.
This is one of the most atmospheric major venues there can be. How do you just stay in that bubble of concentration in the way that you do?
Yeah, I just try to keep my head down and execute shots. This was it's a tough golf course. Links golf, just one errant shot, you can find yourself in the lip of a bunker, or some other spots you don't really want to be in, the high grass and stuff. So got to be focused. I did a good job of staying pretty focused for all 72 holes.
As a golfer, how does it feel to be holding the most historic trophy in the game with so many of the great names on it?
Yeah, it's